What's up? What's happening? What is happening? What is happening? Do, do, do. Great show for you guys tonight, man. Great show for you guys tonight, man. Everybody hit that like button, man. Smash that like button, man. We're going to get started any minute now. Any second now. Oh. You got a lot of class and good taste. You don't say how much you love me. Little, your face, baby. It says the blue screen just for show. Yeah, man. The blue screen is just for show, man. The blue screen is just for show, man. It's just for show, man. I can't do nothing with that. I try to use the blue screen. I try to use it. Yeah. How you like that? How do you like that? You like that? Say it looks much better. Yeah, man. Doing the damn thing, man. Let's see this. All right, we back to the basement. All right, that's the basement, man. Said the men present don't help. The men present don't help. When it's the women who invited them into the country. The women are the ones who vote overwhelmingly to have these men come into the country. The women will be fucking screaming bloody murder if you fucking did something to one of these fucktards. I don't blame him. Nah, I wouldn't help. Daniel Penny, man. Daniel Penny rule, man. The Daniel Penny rule. We ain't helping you hoes, man. Fuck you hoes. You on your own.
Left-wing podcast, this USAID thing that's going on. You know, Mike Benz has been on that like a pit bull, and I've been following him on X, and he's going to come back on here and kind of explain everything. But he explained it the last time he was here, and I don't think I really grasped it until Elon's 6 wizards. They brought in some young wizards to go in there and go over the books, and they are just finding crazy shit. It's great, and it's so interesting. I was listening to a left-wing podcast today. I like to mix it up. You know, I listen to all kinds of different stuff, and it was like I was listening to a different world. Like, they weren't even talking about all of this corruption and all this obvious buying of influence. Instead, they were talking about aid overseas and how people are going to starve. And like,
it's mind-boggling, and there's also, I have to say, I'm upset at the general pattern of a failure to recognize how right those of us who hypothesized that there was a racket that had overtaken our entire governance structure, we turn out to be absolutely right about this, and no one's going to mention it. That's mind-blowing.
It's very strange that the media is ignoring it, especially the left-wing media. It's just too big of a win for the right, and so they're just ignoring it. And then they're just highlighting the good things that USA did, which I'm sure it probably did. Probably had to do some good things to like at least justify its existence.
As a cover story, I'm not even sure. Maybe it doesn't change anything. Obviously, this was a mechanism used to funnel money to all sorts of things that we didn't vote on, that don't make sense in light of our constitutional structure. And I obviously have concerns like everybody else about where this train takes us, but seeing that structure broken up it's a huge relief.
They gave $27 million to the George Soros Prosecutor Fund. So our own government is funding this left-wing lunatic who is hiring the most insane prosecutors, who are letting people out of jail, who commit violent crimes.
And that's exactly how this racket worked, is
Yeah.
that the ability to tax the American public and then effectively get us to pay for being propagandized, for being surveilled. That's the game. And I don't know what era we currently live in. Obviously, there's a lot that's confusing about what the Trump administration is up to, but I don't think any reasonable person could be unhappy that we are exiting that era.
I'm going to read off some of the things that this guy Kanekota the Great on Twitter listed, and this is off the Jesse Water Show. USAID, $20 million for Iraqi Sesame Street, $2 million for Moroccan pottery classes, $11 million to tell Vietnam to stop burning trash, $27 million to give gift bags to illegals, $27 million. $330 million to help Afghanis grow crops. Like crops. I wonder what those crops are. What's their biggest crop, Brett?
It's going to be the poppy seeds for bagels, I'm thinking.
$200 million on an unused Afghani dam, $250 million on an unused Afghani road. This is wild. I mean, some of this stuff is really, really crazy.
Well, yes. And, USAID is, of course, riddled through whatever international madness it is that caused us to open our southern border and facilitate an invasion through the Darien Gap. So, seeing that structure laid bare is... It almost feels like it can't be real. Like it can't have been this close to the surface, and yet here we are.
They were spending, is this number correct? I think the number that I read was $600 million every 2 months to ship in illegals.
Sounds right. I don't know the number offhand, but
what the fuck?
Well, you have to realize that basically we had a shadow apparatus functioning, and it involves all kinds of things. It involves payoffs to people who didn't deserve them. It involves contracting to entities that were necessary to get the work done. So I don't think we can properly understand what these numbers mean and what they're actually being used for, but it was a racket.
Well, we were always wondering, like, why is our debt so high? Why is the national debt so high? Like, why is our deficit so insane? Well, this is it.
Damn. Joe Rogan on that ass. Shit.
Because I've been a football fan for a long, long time. I mean, I remember back when the Cowboys was good. I remember back when the Chiefs was bad. And I remember, what was it? Bill Belichick's girlfriend wasn't even born yet.
God.
Because I've been a football.
Oh my God, man. Oh Lord. Jesus.
Back games of at least 40 points. I told Ryan Howard, who's the analyst for Houston, at halftime, I said,
Make America great again! Make America great again. Make America great again. Make America great again. Make America great again. Whoa! Yo, make America great again. Get out! Whoa, 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 whoa! Make America great again! Yes, sir. I stand my ground. Make them, you guys are pretty. Why? Why?
Oh shit. Homegirl, man. Homegirl.
I feel great, Shabana.
You want to go back your country?
It's private, but no, I do not. I'm from Pakistan now.
How Pakistan helped and take care of you?
Shabana, would you like to speak, Shabana? Okay, she's been taking care of me. Thank you very much.
She's taking care of yours.
Yes, everybody. This is my team.
Okay.
Yes, hi.
Now you are feeling well.
Yes, I'm going for sonogram.
Okay.
Yes.
ओके बिल्कुल सच्चो शबाना जलानी के साथ बहुत मुतमईन है ये खातून और बहुत खुश नजर आती हैं.
I feel great.
Yeah, I like that lady, man. She doing the same thing that illegals do over here. She ain't doing nothing but the same thing that people do when they come here. Beg and get and actually get shit. Beg and soak up fucking resources. Salute to her, man. I ain't mad at her. Shit. She funny as shit. Oh shit. That's what America should start doing, going to other countries and just demanding fucking free shit. Go to a country and just demand free shit. Why not, man? They do it when they come here.
I want to say what was really lovely about what you just said is just to remind people we built a government to work for all of us.
Yes.
You know, we're just all better off if, in fact, the bird flu gets under control.
Yeah.
So we just gonna act like you didn't fucking spend the first 60 years of your life pretending to be an Indian. It's funny how she just pivoted from that shit. Like, she didn't like go into like seclusion. She just said, "Oh, well, you got me." And it just kept on rolling. Oh my God. So she just gonna keep rolling. That was just a speed bump. The fact that you got into college on a scholarship for Native Americans, the fact that you got elected because people thought you was Native American. And now we found out you ain't got a lick of Native American blood. You just gonna keep on rolling. That's crazy.
I want to say what was really lovely about what you just said is just to remind people we built a government to work for all of us.
Yes.
You know, we're just all better off if, in fact, the bird flu gets under control and that our eggs won't kill us. We are all better off. We're better off. We make these investments in infrastructure. We make these investments in our payment system so people don't get cheated. That's how we keep the economy going. And look, bless everybody who gets out there and makes a fortune. Bless everybody.
Just like your fucking vaccine, right? Huh? Just like your campaign to defund the police. Just like all the trans shit. Yeah, everything you tried to do was good for America, right?
Payment system so people don't get cheated. That's how we keep the economy going. And look, bless everybody who gets out there and makes a fortune. Bless everybody who gets up every day and goes to work. But understand the underpinnings of all that are something we all invested in. And now we've got Donald Trump and his co-president, Elon Musk, and they're just running a wrecking ball through it. And it's not like it's an abstract problem. It is really and truly the kid who needs an aid to be able to sit in class so that they can get an education, taking that aid away and maybe taking away that whole classroom. It's these very real ways that people are touched by this. I want to say what was really
Everyone hit the like button, man. Take the $7 challenge, man. Support the channel via PayPal, Cash App, or Super Chat. Trump, man. Shining like a diamond, y'all.
This fucking political party, the Democratic Party, have lied to us about everything. They've lied about being the party of the middle class. They've lied about being the party of peace. They've lied about being the party that wants to help poor people. Okay? What the last several weeks have proven to us all is that this is a cadre of criminals and losers and spoiled children of affluent parents who were more concerned about looking good than actually doing good. These are people who were more concerned about looking like they were doing something for the American people than actually doing things for the American people. And that's why I'm so angry. Because this party lied to me while stealing my tax dollars. The Democratic Party lied to us all while they brought in millions of illegal immigrants for their own political purposes for the last 4 years. 20 to 30 million illegal aliens brought in. And now we come to USAID being probably the largest money laundering operation in American history. Congratulations, Dems. You've outdone even Bernie Madoff. I'm disgusted beyond words. Disgusted with the waste of money. Disgusted with the waste, with the fraud. With the way that you people use color legitimacy, and the way you use black people as fucking mules to get us to push whatever fucking agenda you wanted to. The amount of division you used black people to sow upon the American people, you used us for that. And I will never, ever forgive this political party. The shit that I've gone through personally. Y'all were supposed to be the party of free speech, the party of women's rights. You have immolated all of those things. And then, as if enough weren't enough, you then decide that you're going to die on the hill of USAID, a government audit. You're trying to prevent a government audit because some of you really are trying to stay out of prison. We see the game now. Y'all been out here telling us that the game was rigged against certain people. Well, now we found out who the people that were rigging the game were. Congratulations. Y'all are never going to win another political race ever again. Not if I can help it.
Wow. Wow. These is the people that were in the front of George Floyd marches. These was the niggas that was saying that was the worst thing I'd ever seen in my life. These the niggas who cried with Rachel Maddow, man, about children in cages and shit. Y'all done lost them, man. Y'all done lost them.
Wait, what? What is she doing, dude? There is no way. Tyler, what is she doing?
Why doesn't she just jump it right now?
I am so confused.
And is that even gonna work?
What is she doing? Tyler. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
There's no way this works.
There is no way. Why is she shutting it? Did she say she's okay?
She just said she's got it, I guess. I guess she's done it before. She seemed confident.
Oh,
it worked.
It started.
It worked.
It started. I guess she's just gonna drive away with it like that.
I mean, I guess it works.
Democrats, man. If y'all lose this guy, man, because this is the backbone of the Democrat Party, man.
Y'all keep saying stupid shit. Look, man, these crackers ain't but 200 years old. I don't give a fuck what your fam said they was cavemen. I don't give a fuck that they whitewashed these motherfuckers back to the time. Them bitches 200 years old. They ain't no 6,000 years old. They wasn't made no 6,000 years ago. These bitches just got here. Why you think they digging up shit? To prove they ain't just got here. But they can't find no goddamn proof. If them bitches been here for 6,000 years, why you ain't found no 3,000-year-old cracker bones? Why you ain't found no 3,000-year-old cracker paintings? Why you ain't found no goddamn paintings in the goddamn cave goddamn then since these crackers was here during the caveman time? How come you ain't got no ancient cave motherfucking writings? If these goddamn crackers been here 6,000 years, these bitches can't stand the sun. We saying they finna die now. You mean it took 6,000 years for this bullshit to wear off? Hell no. These bitches can't go out in the sun now. So you talking about 6,000 years ago when these motherfuckers weren't fucking with the sun and all this bullshit? Bitch, these bitches couldn't stand. That was a lie told you by Elijah Muhammad, who was a fucking plant. Elijah Muhammad, the only one said the cracker been here 6,000 years. All the other teachings don't say that. The Holy Scriptures don't say that. The Holy Scriptures calls them what? Bastards who the sons made. I couldn't even watch that. That's so annoying.
I can't see him. Mr. Hewley, count 1, felony murder. I sentence you to life without the possibility of parole. Count 2, violation of Street Gang Terrorism and Prevention Act. I sentence you to 20 years consecutive to count 1. Count 3, violation of...
Why she looking at him like that? Why she looking at him like that? Bitch, it's your fault, man. It ain't my fault that I killed the person. It's your fault you couldn't get me off, bitch. Don't look at me, bitch.
Violation of Street Gang Terrorism and Prevention Act. I sentence you to 20 years consecutive to count 1. Count 3, violation of Street Gang Terrorism and Prevention Act. I sentence you to 20 years consecutive to count 2. Count 10, hijacking a motor vehicle. I sentence you to 20 years consecutive to count 3. Count 11, violation of Street Gang Terrorism and Prevention Act. I sentence you to 20 years consecutive to count 10.
So he got a life sentence so far plus 60 years. So after he completed his life sentence, he still got 60 years to do. A life sentence, 25 years. So let's say he do a life sentence. He got 60 years to do after that. So he basically got 85 years now. And listen, man, a lot of these brothers, man, it sound like it was a carjacking or something. Their buddies get away with this shit so much, man. I'm not saying I feel sorry for him or them, but their buddies get away. We see the stories all the time. His little buddies do this stuff all the time. It get off, either don't get caught or get caught and then get, a slap on the wrist, or get caught and get released. And if they're younger than 18, they get caught and they'll get handed over to their mama. And then you do it and you get fucking 85 years. God, dog. That shit gotta suck, man. Because tonight your homeboys is in the street. Like tonight, his homeboys is in the street doing this shit. Press 1. His homeboys is gonna be in the street doing the same shit he getting 85 years for tonight. And they're not gonna get 85 years for it when they get caught. Give all these niggas 85 years. Send them all to El Salvador. Make it fair, man. Stop being partial, man. Make it fair. Give all these niggas 85 years in El Salvador, man.
I sentence you to 20 years consecutive to count 2. Count 10, hijacking a motor vehicle. I sentence you to 20 years consecutive to count 3. Count 11, violation of Street Gang Terrorism and Prevention Act. I sentence you to 20 years consecutive to count 10. Count 12, violation of Street Gang Terrorism and Prevention Act. I sentence you to 20 years consecutive to count 11. Count 13, possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony. I sentence you to 5 years consecutive to count 12. Count 14, violation of Street Gang Terrorism Prevention Act. I sentence you to 20 years consecutive to count 13. Count 15, violation of Street Gang Terrorism and Prevention Act. I sentence you to 20 years consecutive to count 14.
Gave that nigga 105 years, a life sentence plus 105 years. God damn, boy. Smoked his boots, man. She smoked his boots. Oh, this was funny. I love this. This is what you.
One 2 0 2 2, paren 8, paren 1, dated 11/13/17, signed 4-person. Same title, same cause. Verdict: we, the jury, in the above entitled cause, find the defendant, Diana Jean Lovejoy, guilty of the crime of attempted murder of Greg Mulvihill in violation of Penal Code Section 664/187, paren 8, paren 1, as charged on count 2. We further find true the allegation that Diana Jean Lovejoy acted willfully, deliberately, and with premeditation.
He's like, yeah, that happens sometimes. Like, sometimes you get off and sometimes you get found guilty. You one of the people that got found guilty.
True the allegation that Diana Jean Lovejoy acted willfully, deliberately, and with premeditation within the meaning of Penal Code Section 189. We further find true the allegation that Diana Jean Lovejoy was vicariously armed with a firearm within the meaning of Penal Code Section 12022, paren 8, paren 1, dated 11/13/17, signed 4-person. In the Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of San Diego, the people of the State of California, plaintiff versus Weldon K. McDavid, defendant, case number SCN.
She's not doing too well, man. She's not taking it too well, man.
363925, DA number OCD 980. Verdict: we, the jury, in the above entitled cause, find the defendant, Weldon K. McDavid, guilty of the crime of conspiracy to commit murder.
She hit her head.
K. McDavid, defendant, case number SCN 363925, DA number OCD 980. Verdict: we, the jury, in the above entitled cause, find the defendant, Weldon K. McDavid, guilty of the crime of conspiracy to commit murder.
Yeah, just weekend at Bernie her ass. Bitch, you want to faint? Fuck it, we gonna weekend at Bernie your ass.
All right, we're gonna need to take a break. Okay, folks. Okay, at this point, we need to clear out the courtroom.
Cass smoked her boots. Didn't even give her the sentence yet. They just found her guilty. She knows she gonna get her boots smoked. She should have took that plea. Should have took the plea, baby. Oh shit, nah, man. Nah, man. You ain't doing this. Niggas turning up at Popeyes, man. Oh my god. Niggas is turning up at Popeyes. Jeez. Y'all need help, man. Niggas. Yo. Yo. Nah, man. Stop, man. Nah. Oh shit, man. Oh shit, that's so shameful.
On the corner. Some of them going to sleep. For God! Telling you as a psychologist, I'm not going to be able to psychologize all of them on the corner. Some of them going to sleep. For God! Telling you.
Y'all, guess what? I've been crying all day. So I've been having cramps and stuff. So I decided to go to the ER, because I'm thinking something might be wrong because, I just had a baby a month ago. I just had a baby a month ago. So I'm thinking something might be wrong. So I'm sitting there. Yeah, I went in there. They ran tests and all that. They asked me, they was like, "Do you think you're pregnant?" I'm like, "No, I'm not pregnant or whatever. I'm not pregnant." Even though I didn't wait my 6 weeks, y'all. I'm embarrassed. Y'all don't judge me. I didn't wait my 6 weeks. But how about that doctor is going to come in there and say, "I'm pregnant again." Like he really said, "I'm pregnant again." So I was in shock. I was like, I can't be pregnant again. Please take a test again. My baby only a month old. Y'all, I'm 3 weeks. I forgot how many days it said. I'm 3 weeks and some days pregnant. I'm so embarrassed, but hey.
That's why I be trying to tell y'all, man. Y'all white folk need to start having some babies, man. Y'all gotta offset some of this shit, man. Y'all white folk need to offset some of this shit. Y'all need to. we starting to lap y'all. We lapping y'all, man. I better start having some babies, white people.
And I cried. Did what I had to do. There's nothing I can do about it. I mean, I can get rid of it, but I don't see that happening. But I just had to tell.
And she one of the ones that ain't getting rid of it either. Oh shit. You got one of the ones that ain't getting rid of it. Shit. Trump done fucked up, man. You put one hurdle in front of black people and we fucked, man. Trump put one hurdle. He just said, I'm taking it out of the federal government's hands and I'm putting it in the state's hands. That one little hurdle, man. You know, black people lazy as shit, man. That one little hurdle and shit, all of a sudden, man, the sisters want to keep their babies and shit. They like, shit, I ain't going all the way to motherfucking another state. I'm going to just have the baby. Them Democrats was on to something, man. Democrats made it easy, man. They put Planned Parenthood in the Popeyes, man. Get you some Popeyes and get you an abortion all in one trip, man. Democrats had to let you there. They let you had a van outside the voter registration, outside the poll, the voting booths. They had a van out there where you can go get an abortion, man. Republicans making it all hard to get abortions and shit. Knowing sisters lazy as shit.
Yeah. And I cried. Did what I had to do. There's nothing I can do about it. I mean, I can get rid of it, but I don't see that happening. But I just had to tell y'all first. I had to tell everybody. Go ahead and tell everybody because everybody gonna be asking me, and I'm embarrassed because this is my first child. This is my first child, and I'm already pregnant again. So she about to be a big sister, which is embarrassing.
Irish twins. They call them shits Irish twins. They need to call them motherfuckers goddamn fucking Congolese twins. Oh man, Trayvon would have been 30, y'all. Trayvon would have been 30 today, y'all. Trayvon would have been 30, man. What y'all think Trayvon will be doing today? Honestly, I'm not trying to say, don't be racist, y'all. What do y'all really think? Like, honestly, think Trayvon will be doing today, man? What would Trayvon be doing today? This Trayvon will be 30. This is his birthday, man. That'll be a good poll, man. That'd be a good poll. What would Trayvon? Wow. Yeah, man. Shout out to Trayvon, man. Yeah, man. Take the poll, man. Take the poll, man. Take the poll, man. It ain't hard, man. Take the poll. Take the $7 challenge, man. We got Trayvon, man. The one and only son of Tony, man. Trayvon Martin, man. Take the $7 challenge for Trayvon Martin, man. If you never voted for his, if you never donated to his GoFundMe, here's your chance, man. If you never took the $5 challenge, man, I mean, if you never took the $7 challenge, man, if you never donated to Trayvon's GoFundMe, man, here's your chance, man. Yeah, man. What do you think Trayvon would be doing today, man, if he was still alive? He would be 30. Boy Kachina says, here for the flat earth theory. Hit the thumbs up for Ox. Yeah, we're gonna get the flat earth a little later, man. Trust me. We're in the flat earth a little later, man. This is what they want to bring to this country, man. That's probably a fake phone. They just baiting him. Look at the type of crowd they do over there, man. These people are fucking goddamn. Yo, he would definitely rape somebody. He would definitely like fucking punch an old lady. Look at this fucking guy, man. Look at this fucking guy, man.
Viewers, apologize. I'm going.
They try to play it off. Oh shit, man. He said,
Continue.
yo, the commitment, man. Like, listen, man. We give brothers a hard time, for not following through with things and not, seeing things through to the end and not having the force of character to complete a mission from beginning to end, man. But look at this brother. Look at his determination, man. He will not be denied.
Viewers, apologize. I'm continue. Viewers, apologize.
Jeez. Wow.
A man was shot in the head, but the bullet only grazed him and lodged into a nearby tree. Over a decade later, this same man was cutting down that exact tree, but it was too thick, so he decided to use dynamite. He tied 3 sticks to the trunk and lit the fuse, but the explosion sent the years-old bullet flying, striking him in the head again. And this time, it killed him instantly. Now, this account first appeared in a newspaper in 1905, and it's still a popular story over 100 years later, but there's never been any proof that this story is actually true.
That bullet was on a mission, man. That bullet had more determination than that African phone thief, man. Jeez. Pimp status. Doritos is good like that though, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. He did the right thing. Out. I'm out. Leave. Yes, leave her presence. Once you get her number, you gotta leave, man. Before you say something stupid, man. Leave before you say something stupid, man. That dude is a whole player, man. He played that shit cool, man. That wasn't a skit. Uh, drop the link, man. You smile, you smile, you smile, you smile for me. Better than anything I ever heard. It's written all over your face. You don't have to say a word. Shout out to John Hancock. He said, I got 5 on that. That's right, man. Shout out to Gene B, man. Gene B in the building, man. Shout out to Eric S, man. Op Nation Hall of Famer coming through once again. You smile, you smile, you smile, you smile for me. Oh my God. I'm not listening to you speak your language. That's why we deported your ass. We had to hear that shit. Let's see this one.
Mexican National Guard and Army trucks are now at the border separating Mexico and El Paso, Texas. They're among the first of 10,000 troops that Mexico will send to its northern border after tariff threats from President Donald Trump. Patrols have also been seen near Tijuana, Mexico, near San Diego. This comes as ICE cracks down on undocumented immigrants already living in the United States. Yesterday, ICE conducted a multi-location enforcement operation in the Denver area. Now, this includes the apartment complex deemed to be a criminal nuisance after a series of incidents relating to gang activity.
Unfortunately, we have to come to the communities because we don't get the cooperation that we need from the jails. It would be so much easier and so much safer for our officers and agents if we could take these people into custody from a safe environment. But if we have to come out in the community to do this, that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, you know that joint, that Rude Boys joint. I've been listening to that song hard the last couple of days, man. Bring back so many memories. That was 7th grade, I think. I think that was 7th grade.
Meanwhile, the Department of Defense just shared this video of first flight of undocumented immigrants arriving at Guantanamo Bay. The DOD says the people on the flight were, quote, high-threat criminals who brought violence and mayhem to communities. CBS News immigration correspondent Camilo Montoya Galvez is following all of this for us, talking about deportation and immigration. So, Camilo, first off, thank you for joining us. We appreciate your time. What do we know about these migrant holding operations happening at Guantanamo Bay?
Well, U.S. officials tell CBS News that a military plane is currently in the air en route to Cuba to transport nearly a dozen migrant detainees to Guantanamo Bay so they can be held there as part of this operation that was greenlighted by President Trump to really create a massive detention center there for those who are arrested by immigration authorities in the interior of the U.S., on the U.S. mainland. And this is the second of these types of flights that have occurred this week, sending again a dozen detainees. We are told that these immigrants are from Venezuela and that they have alleged and suspected ties to the notorious and infamous Venezuelan prison gang Tren de Aragua, which of course has become a focal point of the president's crackdown on illegal immigration. Very soon after he took office, he actually moved forward to designate this gang as a foreign terrorist organization. So it is something that he has highlighted on the campaign trail and now at the White House. In terms of the conditions at the naval base, this facility has been housing asylum seekers intercepted at sea, such as Haitians and Cubans, for decades under Republican and Democratic administrations. But now it is housing detainees arrested on the U.S. mainland, including Venezuelans who right now cannot be deported to their home country. We are told that officials here and
all I want to know is, does Guantanamo Bay have a GoFundMe, man? How can I support? Where do I send? Where do we send the donations, man? To support the Guantanamo Bay Expansion Fund, man.
in Guantanamo Bay are working to expand capacity there, including by setting up 10 facilities inside the naval base to house as many as 30,000 migrant detainees.
And Camilo, we are hearing some reports that ICE is releasing some migrants due to capacity issues. So what do we know exactly about those people who are getting released?
That's right. According to internal Department of Homeland Security data obtained by CBS News, as of earlier this week, Immigration and Customs Enforcement detention facilities were at 109% capacity. The agency was housing about 42,000 immigrant detainees who were arrested by the agency, despite on paper only having enough space for about 38,000 detainees. And so right now, detention facilities across the country have surpassed that capacity.
Yo, I mean, isn't there like an old prison somewhere that got shut down? We can repurpose, or old schools, man. We got plenty of buildings, man, that we could repurpose to hold these motherfuckers, man. That's not even a problem, man. This is an easy fix, man. There's old warehouses everywhere, man. Just pick one and put the motherfuckers in there until you send them back to their country, man.
And the agency is scrambling to try to expand detention capacity as quickly as possible. How is it planning on doing that? Well, ICE right now, we understand, is considering a plan that would allow Customs and Border Protection holding facilities along the U.S.-Mexico border to be used to house detainees that the agency is arresting in the interior of the country, including during these operations in cities like Denver, Chicago, and New York City, and other large urban metropolitan areas across the country. It is also turning to the Department of Defense, which, as we just discussed, has already granted the agency access to Guantanamo Bay, but also a military installation in the Denver area. And we are told that more military installations could be repurposed as immigration detention centers.
Okay, Camilo, let's talk about birthright citizenship here, because a judge will soon hear a challenge to President Trump's executive order to end it.
And you know the judge is going to rule against Trump. But the Supreme Court is going to open. If it makes it, we're good if we make it to the Supreme Court. But before then, all the judges going to collude against Trump.
Can we expect here in this legal battle?
There are more than half a dozen lawsuits against the president's move to try to deny birthright citizenship to the children born here on U.S. soil to parents who are in the country illegally, or to parents who are here as immigrants but on temporary legal visas. And so this is obviously a move that would upend the longstanding interpretation of the U.S. Constitution, which has long been interpreted by the U.S. government, including agencies like the State Department, which authorizes passports, to mean that anyone who is born here on U.S. soil physically is an American citizen, irrespective of the immigration status of their parents. And so right now we have seen now 2 district courts.
That's such a stupid fucking law, man. That's such a stupid fucking law.
It's across the country in Seattle and in Maryland say that the president likely does not have the authority to change that interpretation of the Constitution, and that order has to be halted. And so we could see courts across the country block this initiative, but the Justice Department is expected to appeal that ruling and other rulings like it.
Okay.
Shout out to Bug Off, man.
In the deluge of news about Donald Trump's purge of the government, it's easy for some of it to fall through the cracks, especially those agencies that you may never have heard of, but are nonetheless working for you every day. Groups like the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, which essentially sues on your behalf if you are discriminated against at work. And this is
but every black person think they discriminated against their work, man. Every black person say that, man. Nigga, you been late, fucking nigga. Nigga, you never been on time. It's black people like literally have never been on time. Not that they late, they've never been on time. And you work with them, you let it slide, you have a meeting with them, you put them on probation, all this shit. Give them a final notice. They come late again, you fire them. Man, that's messed up, man. Hard out here for a black man, man. I gotta work 10 times as hard. Nah, man. All them frivolous ass lawsuits, man. Fuck all that bullshit, man.
In the deluge of news about Donald Trump's purge of the government, it's easy for some of it to fall through the cracks, especially those agencies that you may never have heard of, but are nonetheless working for you every day. Groups like the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, which essentially sues on your behalf if you are discriminated against at work. And this is not like some new woke DEI thing. This is an independent federal agency that was established by Congress after the passage of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, with the purpose of protecting workers against discrimination based on.
Yeah, man. Unlike me, man, I'm always on time. So, you know, that's why I can't stand them niggas, man, because I got to work 10 times as hard as any other YouTuber, man. I work 10 times as hard. Well, that is true, though. I do work 10 times as hard as any other YouTube for less pay, man. I do get less pay, man, because my channel demonetized. So actually, I am a victim and shit. I am a victim. All my lives be demonetized, man. And I work 10 times as hard, man. I tell the truth, man. The ugly truth. I'm a victim, y'all.
On their race, sex, age, disability, pregnancy, or sexual orientation. Investigating complaints.
Shout out to Bug Off. Oh, God. They talking about sex and orientation and all this bullshit.
Sex, age, disability, pregnancy, or sexual orientation. Investigating complaints based on hiring, firing, promotions, harassment, or wages. In 2023, the commission received over 80,000 new discrimination charges and secured more than $665 million for victims of discrimination. But a lot of what they do is public education, working with employers and employees to make sure people know their rights. And last week, Trump fired 2 of the 3 Democratic commissioners, Charlotte Burrows and Jocelyn Samuels, years before the end of their terms, and tapped a commissioner he appointed in 2020 to serve as EEOC acting chair, Andrea Lucas, who says her priorities would include rooting out unlawful DEI-motivated race and sex discrimination, protecting American workers from anti-American national origin discrimination, defending the biological and binary reality of sex and related rights, including women's rights to single-sex spaces at work. I spoke to the now former EEOC commissioner, Jocelyn Samuels, and asked her what she thinks about those new.
Yo, he rolling all that shit back, man. He rolling all their little bullshit back, man. This gotta feel like a nightmare for them, man. Every day they wake up, he done took some shit. This is a nightmare.
Trumpian priorities.
As you mentioned, I am a former EEOC commissioner.
You could just
because
tell
I was
she
removed by.
You wouldn't even. I wouldn't even have to fucking have her hear her talk. You could just tell she dressed like a woke person.
I email at close to midnight on Monday, January 27th, with no prior notice. And I think
she the type of lady, like say I got on the elevator, or say she was on the elevator, right? And I got on the elevator. She would clutch her purse, right? And then at the next fucking floor, another woman would get on and clutch her purse, and she would be like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you clutched your purse." Why are you judging him? That's not fair. You don't know him. You purse clutcher, you racist purse clutcher.
In violation of the law that, as you said, created the EEOC as an independent agency that is bipartisan by design.
Right, there have to be an equal number of Democratic and Republican.
No more than 3 of 5 commissioners can be members of the president's party.
Got it.
So the goal of Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the way the commission was structured was to create a multi-member bipartisan agency to work together toward consensus to protect the rights of American workers to be free from discrimination.
Mm-hmm.
By firing me and my Democratic colleague, Charlotte Burrows, before the expiration of our term, the president has accelerated his ability to control a majority of the commission.
Well, how about this, man? I got a thing for you, man. Listen, sign up for unemployment, man. That's what everybody else does when they get fired. You sign up for unemployment. You get like a check for like almost a year, man. Till you get back on your feet, man.
Commission, a majority that he would not have been able to secure until the middle of 2026, and can use that majority to advance his, I think, radical agenda to eliminate DEI programs.
This woman believes in cutting little kids' dicks off and shit. Yo, if a little boy like colors, this is how wicked these people are. If you were a little boy and you were playing with some crayons and you just picked up a pink crayon and colored with it, this bitch would fucking, a week later, this bitch would be trying to cut your dick off and shit and put you in a dress. And she calling somebody radical.
Of the commission, a majority that he would not have been able to secure until the middle of 2026, and can use that majority to advance his, I think, radical agenda to eliminate DEI programs, to protect Americans against national origin discrimination.
So what does that even mean?
And to effectively erase trans people from existence.
I mean, the thing about it is, we've seen this movie before when Clarence Thomas was added to the EEOC, and a lot of people believe in order to disrupt it or break it or destroy it, to reverse the idea that discrimination is real, and so that if an African American is denied opportunity based on race, that's not the real discrimination. The real discrimination is if a white person doesn't get a job they want. We've had friends of the show come on and talk about being asked when they were applying for jobs in the 1960s and 70s, hey, how many kids do you plan to have? Are you married? Are you dating? That's the kind of thing, right, that would trigger lawsuits. This feels like they want to reverse it and say that women purporting discrimination or people of color purporting discrimination is, quote, DEI, and maybe Stephen Millerize it and reverse it and say the real discrimination.
Yeah, because it is a lot of times. A lot of that shit be frivolous. Women and shit complaining about people tiptoe around women on the workplace, man. People tiptoe around women on the workplace, man. And then yet they talk about they being discriminated against, man.
Discrimination is when white men don't do what they want. Does that sound like it to you?
I agree with you. I think that opponents of DEIA initiatives deliberately conflate it with some of the proactive mechanisms that Congress anticipated employers would undertake to identify barriers for underrepresented groups that prevented them from claiming equality of employment opportunity. It does not mean engaging in quota-based decision-making. Instead, it means looking at levels of representation in your workforce. And if you see
levels of representation in your workforce,
that particular groups of people are underrepresented. If 80% of your middle managers.
Yeah, but what some jobs certain people don't want to do, man. Let's cut the bullshit, man. Every fucking goddamn field is not going to be fucking the goddamn United Nations and shit. Some fields, like Asians, going to be dominant in it, dealing with math and shit. Now you gotta find some nigga somewhere that know how to do a little bit of math and shit. Some nigga that know how to do a little bit of math and shit, and then fast track his ass to a management position, just so you can fucking not get sued and shit, man. Fuck that, man.
Managers are women, but only 20% of your senior managers are. You look at that and say, there's something wrong here.
Right.
Because absent barriers to equal employment opportunity, the representation of people should look essentially like their availability in the relevant labor pool. And what DEIA is all about is encouraging employers to take those kinds of proactive, intentional steps.
Did she just say DEIA? They adding letters to it? So they doing this shit like the LGBTQIA shit. They adding letters. DEIA? What the fuck?
Barriers to equal employment opportunity, the representation of people should look essentially like their availability in the relevant labor pool. And what DEIA is all about is encouraging employers to take those kinds of proactive, intentional steps to identify barriers and to address them before they result in discrimination. And I worry that with his attacks on DEIA, the president...
Yo, I hadn't heard that till today. I was today years old when I heard of DEIA. Press one if you ever heard of DEIA before. What the fuck is DEIA? I heard of DEI. They done added an A to that bitch. God damn. Look how crazy she looks. She's a goddamn nut, man. DEIA, what the fuck is that? This is a batty ass old lady, man.
And what DEIA is all about is encouraging employers to take those kinds of proactive, intentional steps to identify barriers and to address them before they result in discrimination. And I worry that with his attacks on DEIA, the president and what I anticipate will be the new Republican majority.
Yo, stop saying that shit, bitch. Stop saying it with an A on it. You pissing me off, man. They was adding letters to something, man. God damn, man. DEIA, WNBA, what the fuck?
Majority on the EEOC will instead work to dismantle the kinds of initiatives that have been in place for decades to ensure that people who have been subjected to systemic inequities, people of color and women, and people of non-American national origin, that instead of recognizing that they continue to face systematic barriers in far too many workplaces, we will be seeing suits brought on behalf of white men who claim that they have been harmed by these initiatives, which are designed to make the workplace inclusive and fair.
I want to just for the audience, just to let folks know, in 2023, 143 lawsuits were filed by the EEOC, received 81,055 new discrimination charges, secured more, as I said, $655,000. There seems to be a real obsession inside this DEI sort of tick that is used for everything from airline crashes to anything is all DEI about trans people.
Yes.
And in the guise of protecting.
Yeah, man, we not with that shit. You ain't figured that out yet. People don't like people not with that shit, Joy. That trans shit is so fucking weird, man. We had to pretend like this shit wasn't weird when the Democrats was in power. Now everybody get to be themselves. Everybody get to tell you how they really feel about that shit.
Women who apparently should not be protected from discrimination because they're women, except when it comes to who's in the bathroom. Do you just, what do you make of that?
You know, one of the shocking things that the president did on day one of this administration, the afternoon of Inauguration Day, was to issue an executive order called Defending Women Against Extreme Gender Ideology, which essentially erases the existence of trans people.
Woohoo! Great job, Trump. There you go, man. They still gonna be around though, man. Like they still gonna do their thing, man. They still gonna be 6'9" with some stilettos on, fucking in a goddamn bikini, reading the little kids and shit. Did he make fucking trans time story hour fucking illegal? That's the next thing he need to do. He need to make that shit illegal, man. They need to be raiding. If there's a trans, what they call that shit? Bedtime story? What the fuck do they call that shit? Trans. If there's a trans time story hour, the police should be able to come and arrest everybody there. I don't give a fuck if you work there at the fucking bookstore and shit. I don't give a fuck where if you work there. If you there, you didn't call the police and you didn't fucking I don't give a fuck. Everybody in the building at one of those trans time story hours need to fucking be arrested. That's when we gonna know he's serious, man. They should be able to walk into one of them things and arrest every single adult in there.
You know, the Williams Institute at UCLA School of Law estimated that there are 1.6 million trans people. This executive order would say they do not exist. Sex is purely binary, and it is a biological and immutable fact. And anybody who asserts otherwise is operating under false delusions. This is both, I think.
Yo, she summed it up pretty well. You gotta give her that, man. She summed that shit up pretty well.
Order called Defending Women Against Extreme Gender Ideology, which essentially erases the existence of trans people. You know, the Williams Institute at UCLA School of Law estimated that there are 1.6 million trans people. This executive order would say they do not exist. Sex is purely binary, and it is a biological and immutable fact. And anybody who asserts otherwise is operating under false delusions. This is both, I think, deeply damaging for a very vulnerable group of people. But it is also contrary to the law, where the Supreme Court has made clear that people are protected from discrimination based on their gender identity.
Yeah, that's about pretty much it. Yeah.
Mexican.
Yeah, pretty much.
In the deluge of news about Donald Trump's purge of the government, it's easy for some
Pretty
of it
much.
to fall. But we begin tonight with Donald Trump's shock and awe strategy, which is starting to feel a lot like more shock and a little less awe. He's been making a blizzard of moves in these first 18 days of his second administration, meant to inspire fear and outrage, creating problems and then pretending to solve them so that he can look like a savior, keeping his promises to his base. And while it's all really bad and destructive, I think it's important to sort out the actual fires from the smoke and mirrors, because let's face it, we can't react to everything effectively all at the same time. But that's what autocrats and coup leaders want, right? While we're running from fire to fire, Trump and Elon's little Doge gang are dismantling our federal government from within. So just for a moment, let's just take a step back and look at what he's been saying versus what he's been doing. Trump announced 25% tariffs on Mexico and Canada, which sent the markets into a tizzy, all for him to pull a reverse at the last minute, claiming he got major concessions, when in reality, Mexico and Canada basically reiterated the same border security measures they had already agreed to under Joe Biden. Trump backed down and got nothing. The administration is also blitzing the airwaves and social media with terrifying pictures of what they claim is the largest deportation operation in American history. But as Politico reports, the number of daily ICE arrests trumpeted each day on X Twitter are still about where they were at times under President Barack Obama. Many of those detained have no violent criminal history, and the White House said Wednesday that more than 400 migrants have been released for lack of detention capacity, among other reasons. So catch and release, yeah? Ugly, expensive, and yes, performative arrests that absolutely make communities feel terrified. But for
Oh, salute to Michael, man. Damn, Michael.
almost no new result. Then there's the executive order banning transgender athletes from competing in women's sports. Transgender people make up less than 1% of our population, and there are fewer than 10 collegiate athletes who identify as transgender in the whole country. That was not.
Yeah, but nip it in the bud, man. And that's not true, though. That's a lie. It's more than 10, and they've been fucking. We nip it in the bud, man. We're not letting you get a foothold in it, man. This is like gay marriage, man. We're not letting you get married, man. This would be like if we was like, nah, you can't get married, man. Because we know that you don't really want to just get married. You want the fucking whole world. You want everybody you want the world domination. So instead of letting you get married and then slowly try to get world domination, we nipping that shit in the bud, man. No trans in women's sports, man. The end.
Not me stuttering. I said 10. The federal government bullying 10 Americans is bizarre and cruel. But as I explained yesterday, the federal government does not mandate who can play in school sports. If local school boards decide to mimic that ugly EO, it is awful, yes, but local voters will be able to hold them accountable. As for America taking over Gaza to turn it into the Riviera of the Middle East, the administration has already walked that one back, especially his shambolic talk about sending in U.S. troops. He posted on his social media today that no troops will be needed since Israel will just hand over Gaza to the U.S. once the war is over. Okay, so Israel will somehow physically expel 2 million Palestinians, which, by the way, is definitional ethnic cleansing, and then hand over Gaza to us to colonize with no military protection. Yeah, that should go over great. Speaking of countries that Trump is threatening to go to war with, after the State Department claimed that U.S. government vessels can now transit the Panama Canal for free, which would save the government millions of dollars a year. The president of Panama came out and said, nope, no, you can't. And this morning, Trump called for CBS to lose its FCC license and for its news show 60 Minutes to be immediately terminated after the network caved and released the full unedited interview with former Vice President Kamala Harris from October, which shows, surprise, surprise, nothing abnormal. This is the part where I tell you that CBS as a network does not have an FCC license. Local stations do. So why all the smoke? Forgetting what they've said, we know that what the Trump-Musk gang have actually done is that Elon's Doge gang have gained access to files at the Treasury Department, the Office of Personnel Management, Small Business Administration, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, the Department of Education, Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, and Veterans Affairs. They've requested access to the Department of Labor, which houses confidential information, including for whistleblowers, economic data, and other personal information. But after a group of unions sue, they've been blocked by a judge until tomorrow. Now, naturally, this has triggered panic within the federal workforce and across the country because unvetted and unqualified Musk sycophants are rummaging through highly sensitive data.
Yo, they're so biased, man. Golly. Woo. They are so biased, man.
New at 10, a fast food worker is behind bars after getting into a shootout with people inside a Midtown restaurant. Hello, I'm Greg Hurst.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Skurlock. This happened at a McDonald's in the 1300 block of Poplar Avenue. WREG's Brian Ditlake is live at the Shelby County Jail tonight with the latest on this. Brian?
Stephanie, Greg, this situation all started after two McDonald's workers got into it with each other. But once relatives got involved, that's when the situation escalated into a shooting. Business is back to normal at this Midtown McDonald's off Poplar. But last Tuesday, shots rang out between the fast food chain's workers, customers still inside. The man behind one of the weapons, Caden Stewart, he's being charged with felony reckless endangerment, unlawful carrying or possession of a weapon, and aggravated assault. Memphis police say Stewart got into an argument with his co-worker. A brother of one of the co-workers who also worked there went outside and got a weapon. When he came back, Stewart started firing from the back of the kitchen area. The other man shooting back, one man was hit in the ankle during the exchange of gunfire.
I just think there's a lot of stress in Memphis, and there's a lot of people who...
It's a lot of niggas in Memphis. I just think it's a lot of niggas in Memphis.
A lot of stress in Memphis, and it's a lot of people who take out their stress on fellow citizens.
Malcolm Bryan says, of course, this was not the way to handle an argument, but says it's a deeper issue. He tells me he disagrees with the state's open carry laws.
I believe there should be a special case for Memphis. There should be much better training, education around gun use, gun purchasing, gun ownership. But in the final analysis, if you're going to have a state law, then this city has to make some kind of adjustment.
So he agrees with me, man. He said you have a state law, but these nigga cities, they can't go by the state law because niggas don't know how to act.
And now Stewart is set to face a judge tomorrow morning. But for now, we're live here in downtown Memphis tonight. Brian Ditlake for your news leader on WREG News Channel.
Excuse me. Make sure you support the channel via PayPal, Cash App, or the Super Chat.
As that happens, a 19-year-old Indianapolis woman is charged with murder after a deadly shooting on Indy's Near East Side. Fox 59 Jesse Wells explains what police believe led to that killing and why additional suspects may also face charges.
According to court records, the 19-year-old suspect came to this house behind me under the false pretense of wanting to get a tattoo done by the victim. Instead, a robbery and shooting took place, and police do not think the suspect acted alone.
Wanting the wings, police say that text message requesting a tattoo design led to a fatal botched robbery in October 2024 at a home-based tattoo business on Oxford Street. Witnesses heard 38-year-old David Young yell, "I don't have anything," before he was shot 4 times. Police say phone records and text messages allowed 19-year-old Zion Johnson to be charged.
This bitch went to rob the tattoo guy, man. She robbed the tattoo man. Killed him.
Or he was shot 4 times. Police say phone records and text messages allowed 19-year-old Zion Johnson to be charged with taking part in that robbery and murder.
Just highlights the hard work and effort of our detectives working so hard for
period of time and ensuring that we hold those accountable that commit these violent acts within our community, right? And removing them from within our community.
According to court records, Johnson admitted she arranged the tattoo appointment and went to the victim's home with another male suspect, but insisted she was unarmed, and the second suspect is the one who actually did the shooting. Still, Indiana law allows Johnson to be charged with felony murder for allegedly taking part in the robbery that led to the death. So far, Johnson is the only person charged with the murder, but the death remains an ongoing investigation. Finally, Johnson is set to make her initial court hearing on Friday. In the meantime, she's being held without bond pending trial. Jesse Wells, Fox 59 News.
Send her ass to El Salvador, man. Robbing a goddamn tattoo man.
But first, a 19-year-old man is now facing attempted murder charges for shooting 2 people on I-70 in early January. But state police say this kind of case can typically be a challenge to solve.
Fox 59 Scarlett O'Hara explains the techniques police use to track down the suspect.
One woman has spent the last month unresponsive in a hospital bed, since declared brain dead, according to these court documents, after she and her boyfriend were shot here on I-70 near downtown Indianapolis. An early morning interstate shooting spelled out in documents. January 2nd, a couple was driving home when the male driver saw a Jeep speeding toward them. The victim told police that's when he heard several gunshots and felt a bullet pierce his elbow as his girlfriend slumped over, unconscious.
Interstate shootings do prove to be difficult to investigate because you have a crime scene that's moving, that's mobile, and also a crime scene that several hundred more vehicles are probably going to drive through before we even get a chance to get there.
But technology is helping investigators with this case. Documents say a description of the suspect's Jeep, coupled with flock camera license plate reader data, pointed police to 19-year-old Dante Roney, whose phone records placed him on I-70 around the time of the shooting. Roney's social media also linked him to groups the victim said were rivals with his brother. Then there were several photos from Roney's Instagram page showing people flashing guns. Although the male victim believes this wasn't random, state police say it remains an example of a growing problem.
We've seen a substantial increase in interstate shootings in Indianapolis. That number has increased year after year over the last several years.
State police say in 2024, troopers investigated 70 cases of gunfire on Indianapolis area interstates and responded to 280 calls of someone flashing or pointing a gun during a road rage encounter.
Whether it be on road rage or otherwise, people are getting hurt, people are losing their life. And it's certainly something that deserves our attention, and we're going to give it that attention.
And they need your attention too. State police say the majority of last year's interstate shooting cases have gone unsolved, so witnesses are crucial.
Time and time again, we get information from witnesses that are uninvolved in the incident that give us key pieces to solve these cases, and that's very important. If you see something, call 911 and let us know.
The probable cause affidavit for Dante Roney's arrest also says a witness told police that around the time leading up to the shooting, he sold Roney a Glock 9mm handgun, the same kind of gun police found in his Jeep afterwards. In Indianapolis, Scarlett O'Hara, Fox 59 News.
I knew that there was going to be chaos. I had no idea how.
Let's see that.
What is a failure that occurred during one of your space flights, and how did the crew handle it?
Well, that's a really good question. I've got a little over 200 days in space, and let me tell you that failures happen. And the one thing I learned...
Y'all don't see nothing wrong with this. This just look normal to y'all. Shout out to Boy Kachin. He says, Earth, Ox says you are flat, but I ain't down with that. Because your waist is huge and your curves are kicking. And I gotta get to the mitten.
is that the best way to react to a failure is to be ready for it in the first place. And everything we do up here involves a lot of.
Yo, listen to the way he answers this question. That's not normal. Normal people would just say, well, failure. Okay, well, the other day, the EOC cord got tangled with the lamb rod connector, and we had to unswitch it and connect it to the DR475 plug, and to get our rotors going, and then blah blah blah. Like they don't answer any. They're not really up there. They're in a fucking studio somewhere. Being suspended by harnesses that are fucking CGI'd out of the picture, and they got a nigga up there too. What the fuck he doing up there, man? You know he ain't qualified to be up there, man. And you got her with the hair gel and shit. And this fucking liar, this goddamn psychopath, Scott, whatever the fuck his name is, that motherfucker's a lying piece of shit.
What is a failure that occurred during one of your space flights, and how did the crew handle it?
Well, that's a really good question. I've got a little over 200 days in space, and let me tell you that failures happen. And the one thing I learned is that the best way to react to a failure is to be ready for it in the first place. And
look, y'all, I'm floating. I'm floating, y'all. I'm floating, y'all. I'm floating.
everything we do up here involves a lot of planning and having backup systems and methods to handle things. When I first arrived at the space station on the Soyuz, our automatic docking system failed, and we were trained and equipped to bring it in manually, and we did that. And more recently here, when I had Steve Bowen out on the end of the robotic arm, and he had a big, heavy piece of very expensive hardware, and our robotic workstation crashed. And, that's not a good place to be, but we had a backup.
This fucking guy, he doesn't even look like he. These fuckers, what the fuck? The fuck are they doing, man? This is just weird. Yo, at the very least, this is weird. Press 1 if this is just weird. The earth could be round as a motherfucker. The earth could be round as a fucking basketball, man. But just if this is just weird, it don't have to be. The earth could be round. We could be spinning around a fucking galaxy at 8 gazillion million miles an hour and shit. This shit just looks fucking weird, man.
System, and the space station crew, in a very calm, very cool-headed, but very quick response, brought up that secondary workstation, and within a few minutes, we were back in business.
How they floating just so still? Nobody's floating out of. There's no floating like natural floating motions. Everybody just floating. Usually when they float, it's like they can't control the shit. It's like they gotta like press themselves down. But here, they just all floating in unison. They all just sitting there like a fucking school of fish and shit, just floating in fucking
business and good to go. And Steve was moving again. So seemed a long time to Steve, but obviously being prepared is the biggest thing. And it's great to see that when everything is in order and the crew reacts to their training and cool heads, and you're back in business really fast.
When they do the high altitude drops to recreate weightlessness, that's for the scenes when they're swimming through air in the fucking fake space station. These, when they do these interviews, the way they fake the interviews is they're suspended by harnesses and shit, and they just sitting there bopping and shit. These people are fucking sick to be lying to us like this, man. All of you people are fucking psychopaths.
past.
I want to see that shit again.
Station, this is Houston. Are you ready for the event?
Houston, station's ready for the event.
Yo, my CGI is better than this, man. What year was this, man? What year was this? Oh, this is 11 years ago. Oh, yeah, my CGI is better than that shit. Look, y'all, I'm floating. Let me hold on to something, man.
Google Plus moderator, this is Mission Control Houston. Please call station for a voice check.
Station, this is a Google Plus Hangout. How do you hear me?
So he not even float. He just sitting there like a fucking goddamn genie and shit. This motherfucker turned into a genie. This motherfucker hanging from the fucking ceiling and shit with one arm. And this motherfucker, I don't know what the fuck he doing. He getting freaky and shit.
Google Plus Hangout, International Space Station. We have you loud and clear aboard. We have our own way of hanging out up here. Watch my buddies hang out. We're ready to hang out with you guys. Welcome aboard.
The fuck was that? Why you ain't flip all the way around? And why the fuck did you even do that? Why you having to prove some shit? The fuck was that? What the fuck was that?
Here, watch my buddies hang out. We're ready.
I thought he was going to do a whole flip. That motherfucker harness got caught. His harness
to
is
hang
like,
out with you guys. Welcome aboard.
Nah, the harness is like, hell nah. Why did the other guy have to push you down? Oh, because the weightlessness is uncontrollable. Like you can't control yourself in weightlessness. But this motherfucker been sitting here like a genie for the last fucking 2 hours and shit. Everyone hit the like button. Smash the like button, man. Take the $7 challenge, man. Y'all ask for flat earth, man. We doing flat earth, man. Ain't nobody, no niggas, nobody want this smoke. Where all the Globers at, man? Nobody want this smoke. Come get some of this smoke, Globers. Who wants some smoke?
Awesome. We have a lot of questions for you guys today, so let's start with our first one from YouTube.
I'm Kristen Lau. I'm Maria Raggi, and we're from Union High School in Iowa. Our question is, what is the exact purpose of having humans live on the space station? Thanks.
Wow, that was a great question, man. What is the exact purpose of having humans live on the space? They got to start taking questions that are fucking they got to do like Kamala and shit and Joe Biden. They got to get the questions, man. All these off the cuff questions, man. They stop taking this shit, man. I'd have been like, yo, why you?
Well, the whole point of having a space station is to have some place in space where people can take their ideas. We have a huge power.
To have some place in space where people can take their ideas.
Our supply up here, we have a lot of rack space, and we have a lot of scientists on the ground with a lot of ideas about things to do in space. We have literally hundreds of experiments going on right now as we're working up here. And the space station really offers a lot of flexibility to us that you wouldn't have. If you wanted to put an experiment in space and you didn't have a space station, I don't know where you'd put it. Right next to us is a rack. Yesterday, we took an experiment out of it called In Space, which is looking at special magnetic fluids that can change the way we have really changed the operation of braking systems. and maybe have applications to seismic dampers and stuff for earthquake zones. Many good offsets from that particular experiment. And we finished it out.
What the fuck are you talking about? The fuck is this word salad shit he's talking about? People don't talk like that in real life. Shout out to Jim Sefton, man. He says, if there is life out there, let it stay out there. If there was contact, the federal government would be paying them and giving them tons of free facts, right? If they found some fucking goddamn aliens out there, they would. That's a great point. There's no way they wouldn't be fucking lauding that shit as if like they was the greatest thing. They would be, yeah. Great point, man. Great point. If there was some fucking life out there, we would have been fucking gave them fucking goddamn vouchers and fucking put them up in a hotel. Put them up in the Ritz-Carlton and shit somewhere. We would be paying their way. Yep, facts.
Yesterday, and we're going to put in a new experiment next week that's coming up on Dragon, and it'll look at a completely different kind of thing. It'll look at the way metals form in zero gravity, and it's very important for us to look at the way the crystals form because it can make things very much stronger. And so these are things that can only be done in zero gravity, and we have no lack of ideas of things to do up here, and we're here to facilitate it.
Thanks. We're going to take our next question from YouTube. It's Simon Drubel, who asks, do you sometimes see falling stars in the atmosphere from the space station, or is it frequent, or do you see stuff like satellites in orbit? Thank you, from Belgium.
Uh-oh, he got nervous. He got so nervous he dropped the mic. That nigga got so nervous he dropped the fucking microphone.
Do you sometimes see falling stars in the atmosphere from the space station, or is it frequent, or do you see stuff like satellites in orbit? Thank you, from Belgium.
Now you take this one. Because as many satellites up there, y'all supposed to have ran into a bunch of satellites. Y'all supposed to have bumped into a satellite by now. You should see satellites out the window every fucking 5 minutes. Stars everywhere. You in fucking space, right?
As a matter of fact, shooting stars we do see, there's one big difference. They're below us. And
as a matter of fact, shooting stars we do see, the one thing, they're below us. So you're above the stars. But the stars are 8 quadrillion million miles away, but you're above the stars now. I thought the speed of light, I thought it was 85 bazillion light years and shit away. Now you're above the stars on the fucking space station.
Thank you, from Belgium.
as a matter of fact, shooting stars we do see, there's one big difference. They're below us instead of above us. So when we're looking down at the Earth, we can see a little shooting star. Usually you don't see much movement other than the Earth slowly going by you. And so when it really catches your eye when you see a shooting star, it's a lot of movement there in the atmosphere. It's very beautiful.
Have y'all ever taken any pictures of the shooting stars? Y'all are up there, right? With all this fucking equipment. Show us a picture. Matter of fact, show us a picture of the shooting star, the last one y'all seen. Or any one you've seen. Show us a picture of any shooting star you've seen. Why are you not showing us the picture of that shit? That shit is so cool. We're paying a fucking gazillion dollars a year for you guys to be up there. And all you're going to do is give us an anecdote, a secondhand anecdote about a shooting star. You should be showing us that shit, you fucking bitch.
We don't see other satellites typically because we're all going very fast, 17,500.
We don't see satellites because we're going very fast. What the fuck? Then slow it down. Slow the film down. You don't see any satellites up there because there is no satellites. Satellites is bullshit. Satellites are a fucking hoax too. Ain't no fucking satellites. They do all that shit with underwater cables and fucking drones and hot air balloons. That's been proven. Ain't no fucking satellite nowhere.
All going very fast, 17,500 miles an hour. And if one's in a
So right now they're going 17,500 miles an hour. Does it feel like they're going 17,500 miles an hour? Do you understand how fast that is? Right now they're traveling at 17,500 miles per hour. That's how fast they go around the globe. 17,500 miles per hour. And they're just calm as can be. Not afraid that this motherfucking piece of shit gonna rip apart. Not afraid that this motherfucking thing is gonna crash into a goddamn satellite. Not afraid that this motherfucking thing is gonna disintegrate into some shit they never fucking expected in space, some space dust. Just as happy as they can be traveling at 17,500 miles per hour constantly around the fucking globe. And they be up there for like a year at a time, allegedly, traveling that fast the entire time. Bring your ass up here if you got a problem with what I'm saying. Where all the flat earth, where all the globes at, man? Where the globies at, man? Shout out to Boy Kachina, man. Boy Kachina says, lame show, first spacewalk revisited. First spacewalk revisited, 1965. Jesus Christ.
Okay, I'm separating from the spacecraft.
Okay, separating from the spacecraft at this time, all right.
Okay, my feet are out. I think I'm dragging a little.
Okay, but if you going 17,500 miles per hour, why is this motherfucker, why did he not like fucking being pulled by the fucking space station and shit? Whatever the fuck they on.
A little bit, so I don't want to fire the gun yet. Okay, I'm out.
Okay, he's out.
So this motherfucker just gonna get out the spaceship. He just gonna get out the spaceship and just go into fucking space attached with a rope. He really just did that. Let me out this motherfucker. I gotta go fix something on the side of the fucking spaceship.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, I put a little roll in, took it right out.
Oh, Boy Kachina cleared it up for us, man. 17,500 miles per hour is the speed of orbit, man. If you go any slower than that, you're gonna fall down. Oh, okay, that makes sense. So orbit. Okay, so orbit. So I guess they're going 17,500 miles per hour now, too, right? Does it look like he's going 17,500 miles per hour? Does it look like that?
Ryan, you did, Jimbo? Well, you know, I'm afraid. Don't sweat it. I'll come over to you. Let's take us your 12. Now we just let it go. All right. Okay, I rolled up. I'm rolling to the right now. Under my own influence. There goes a... Looks like a thermal glove, Jim. It is, yes. All right. Now I've come above the space draft.
Bullshit. But it's that speed relative to Earth. I got you. It's relative to Earth, but does this look real?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. A bunch of bullshit. A bullshit.
Like, what is going on here, man? What is really going on?
Experimenting with CGI at the time, what was currently available to them.
This is so bad, man, that they're like, this is such a poor. This is offensive, right? You should be the fact that these globe heads aren't offended, right? You should be offended by this shit. You should be like, man, stop playing with me like this, man.
Well, hey, that's what you get when you get a bunch of sheeple following anything that these people feed you.
Wow, unbelievable.
You know your screen. You know the screen is blank, right?
Oh, okay.
Okay, I put a little roll in, took it right out. Ryan, you did, Jimbo? Well, you know, I'm afraid. Don't sweat it. I'll come over to you.
So we supposed to believe that this motherfucker, nobody had ever done this shit before, and he just gonna go out there and do that shit. Just go out into space. Just get out of the spaceship. This motherfucker got out of the spaceship, attached by a rope, and just started floating out there. No one would do that. No one in their right mind would do that. That doesn't make any sense.
In the name of science, in the name of bullshit is more like it.
Let's take us your 12. Now we just let it go. All right. Okay, I rolled up. I'm rolling to the right now. Under my own influence. There goes a... Looks like a thermal glove, Jim. It is, yes.
Okay, so that glove, right? That glove is going at 17,500 miles per hour now.
All right. Now I've come above the space draft. I'm coming back down now. I'm under my own control. Okay, I'm coming over.
Great cameras, man. For you know what I mean? Multiple camera angles. They got a fucking camera crew up there in space. So the cameraman is hanging out there too. The cameraman's hanging out the fucking. So they just got the door open. The door on the spaceship just open like a motherfucker. He hanging out. The cameraman, both cameramen hanging out the fucking window. What the fuck is who's flying the spaceship, man?
It looks beautiful. I feel like $1 million.
He feel like $1 million. He not scared. He just like, this feels great. Yay. Salute to Doug Chunks, man. Douglas Chunks in the building, man. He says, I guess I'm a globe. I wish I had time to discuss scientific facts, but I'm still working. Salute, fellow globies. Man, bring your ass up here, Doug, man. Take a break, man. Tell him you need a cigarette break, man. We trying, where the globies at, man? Where y'all at? This shit right here. What the fuck is this shit?
At T-minus 30 minutes, the pad was cleared. Now there is just a spacecraft, launch vehicle, and 2 men on top of it.
All systems are good at this time. The launch
Now,
control
mind
is
you,
okay.
all these computers in here, yo, my fucking stove got more fucking computing power than any fucking computer they got in here. My fucking microwave. Okay? If I could go back in time with my fucking microwave, these people would think I was a fucking god. They would think I was a fucking Greek god from another fucking planet and shit. If I took my wristwatch back in time to these motherfuckers, they would fucking worship me. And that has far more computing power than all these computers in here combined. And that's a fact, just because the size of the microchip wasn't invented yet. It took all this shit to equal the size of like the weakest microchip that they had in 1985.
T-minus 10 minutes and counting.
6 minutes before launch. The spacecraft test conductor signed off to the spacecraft with these final words. Okay, Jim, have a good flight.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff.
At 10:16 Eastern Standard Time, Gemini 4 was on its way.
We have a roll program initiated. I know.
Flight departure started. And in sync. Roger.
Roll program completed and exhibit report. And the pitch program has been initiated.
Roger. I know.
Mark 50 seconds and we're go. Guidance reports a go. The flight trajectory looks very, very close to right on the nominal value.
That's good. Flight data pretty noisy, but we're okay.
How do you know you're okay? Who the fuck will get in that thing? Who in their right mind would get inside of that thing? Who in their right mind would get inside of that thing? There's nobody in there. I contend that there's nobody in there.
And I agree 100%.
Who gonna get in a big ass tube full of jet fuel in fucking 1965? They just gonna light this shit on fire and blast you into fucking space. You gonna go all the way to space with that shit. You got enough gas that and then when you get there, you gonna float around the fucking orbit at 17,000 miles per hour, do some shit, and then magically just come back and shit. You're gonna like come back. How the fuck you gonna come back? And you just gonna land right in this perfect spot. You gonna come back and land in the sea next to Houston and shit in 1965.
For his go for staging, which will occur in a very few seconds.
Just go.
We have staging, and it's been confirmed here on the ground.
First looks good.
Gemini 4 entered orbit with an insertion velocity of 25,745 feet per second, within 11 feet per second.
Donald Gracie says shooting stars is a slang term for meteors falling through the atmosphere. Okay, fine. Whatever it is, show it to us. You see them all the time. That last video was done in fucking 2014. They see them all the time. Show the shit to us. Show us the fucking shooting star going by the fucking ship and shit. Slow down the fucking goddamn film slow motion and shit to where we can see it. The fuck is going on, man? I can't believe you people believe this shit. These people did this shit in 1965.
Second of planned velocity. The apogee of the first orbit was 177.6 statute miles. The perigee, 100.8 statute miles. Command pilot McDivitt started to work at once, attempting to fly an airplane formation with the second stage of the launch vehicle. The full resources of NASA in Houston were on hand to support Gemini 4. From a new 3-story building, flight controllers at the Manned Spacecraft Center assumed direct control of the mission for the first time in the space program. The mission director now checked the status of a possible rendezvous.
Ask him about his track with the launch vehicle. I haven't said it this time. It's directly below me about
So they can talk to them in the moon, but they couldn't talk to the troops in Vietnam back then. They had to use Morse code and shit. They had to use Morse code and all that shit to talk, but they can talk to some motherfuckers in the moon in space, a gazillion miles away, just like that. This motherfucker just pressed the button and started talking to the motherfucker on the spaceship. If y'all could do that, man, why the fuck did we we can't even do that now?
Yeah, exactly. You can't even get a stable signal for a damn cell phone. And you
they lost the
actually
technology.
Yeah, exactly. And you want me to actually believe that you motherfuckers can strap somebody to a rocket and send them up into orbit? Like, come on, man. Like, this is like entertainment to just to measure how dumb and how gullible the people are. Like they, and also there's a form of entertainment and hopeful, and wishful and hopeful thinking that maybe, just maybe, someday we'll get to the stars.
And they was trying to beat the Russians too. So it was like competition and shit.
Yeah,
They wanted to believe. They
exactly.
wanted to believe, you know what I'm saying? They wanted to believe that shit. Eric S, man, he says, can you imagine the fuel burn at 17?
Yo, I'm gonna put you onto some game too. Cause I don't have an oath with these people. I know some of the science, I know a great deal of the sciences and stuff, the rituals and things of that nature that take place in these temples and lodges and things of that nature. But yeah, they that's one of the things they teach, that we live on a flat plane of existence.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's obvious, man. Shout out to Sean, man. Sean in the building. Salute to you, Sean, man. Shout out to Sean, man.
You can pull up a lot of you can pull up a lot of like the Masonic art, and it pretty much is telling the story of how you exist on a flat plane of existence.
Yeah, I mean, what do you feel like? It's no way somebody would think when we're floating, we're like spinning in the fucking universe. Like the Earth is going way faster than that. We're going like a gazillion miles per hour around the fucking orbit, and the other planets are spinning, and everything's spinning and flitting, and it's the darkness of space. Salute to Eric S, man. He says, well, yeah, man, that's a great point, man. Salute to Deluxe 247, aka Cal Ripken, aka the Real VP, coming through once again. LC says we need a sun to show us the way to the moon. I ain't saying that. I just think this is all bullshit. Look at this motherfucker. Look at this computer screen.
Like, what are you sitting there doing?
He's not doing nothing. He ain't doing a motherfucking thing. Look at the graphics. Look at the graphics.
Oh my God, yo.
Everything seemed favorable at that time. But as the first orbit progressed, the second stage of the launch vehicle drew away.
So how do they know that that's what's happening? Like, So they drew that shit. This is a drawing. So they're like, all right, where we at? We in this place. I draw the map and show that. Like, what the fuck?
Still have the booster. We're out quite a ways from it now. It's taking a little more fuel than we had anticipated. To really make a major effort to...
That's a huge thing. If it's taking a little more fuel than you anticipated, that's a huge deal, my brother. Like, how much fuel could fit on that fucking thing? Like, seriously, like, enough fuel for y'all to go up there to wherever the fuck y'all going to come back. Man, when I go to DC, man, I gotta fucking stop at the gas station, man.
Word.
These motherfuckers they just knew how much fuel they got, and it was exactly how much they needed.
Close this last thing or to save the fuel.
The answer was almost immediate from the mission director.
You might tell him, as far as we're concerned, we want to save the fuel. We're concerned about the lifetime when we are matching that booster. Okay.
And that was it. Okay. The second stage of the launch vehicle went on to become
somebody
Space
posted
Project
something in the back.
1391. It would burn up over the mid-Atlantic 2 days later.
Get my phone. Okay, we're giving you
Uncle Frank, you gotta connect. Uncle Frank, you gotta connect. Your device ain't connected, Uncle Frank. He said NASA invented microwave ovens. Yeah, man. Uncle Frank, let's see what you put in the back.
They didn't invent anything. They rediscovered it.
They ain't doing a goddamn thing of
The
doing.
crew started their checklist for EVA, but Command Pilot McDivitt decided not to rush things. He elected to go for EVA on the third revolution.
Hawaii, get my phone. Go ahead, Governor Ford. Next pass around. I don't think you want to stop. Very good. Roger, I'm happy.
Look at the intensity on their faces.
Tell him we're happy with that.
Most of the world waited 100 miles below. The crew had completed final preparations. The cabin was depressurized and the hatch open. Coming up on Hawaii, McDivitt reported that he was satisfied and ready to begin EVA.
So this motherfucker getting out, man. He's just gonna get out the fucking spaceship. Hey, man, get the fuck out of here, man. Let me see this video. He told me he asked me to watch, man. You motherfucker, you.
The Saturn V rocket took humans to the moon for the first time, but the humans didn't steer the rocket. It steered itself using a computer.
Tower clear.
They had a computer that could steer a rocket in 1965.
A lot of the Saturn V rocket was built here in Huntsville, Alabama, otherwise known as Rocket City. And one of the really cool things about living here is it's filled with aerospace.
Look how weird this guy looks. He's a fucking liar, too. You can tell he's a liar. They all look like fucking liars. Every last one of these motherfuckers, man. Bunch of fucking liars. Look how happy he is and shit. Boy, Kashina says NASA invented microwave ovens. Yeah, they invented every fucking thing. The goddamn bed, the what's that foam bed? They invented that shit. That shit is terrible for your back. What's that bed that I used to work at Brookstone and shit, and we used to sell those beds. I sold a couple of them joints. Not Tempur-Pedic, the foam. They say NASA made it. It's the bed.
Like the space age foam shit.
God damn, what was the name of that shit? I forgot the name of that shit. Fuck. You got a big bonus for selling them beds though. Jesus, I can't remember the name of that bed. That shit's horrible for your back. You hear me? Like, cause you sink into it. It's terrible and it's dreadful. Memory foam.
And computer engineers who love this stuff. So a thing you can actually do here is pick up the phone and call one of your friends and have them call their friend. And before you know it, you're in a parking lot receiving a Saturn V memory module from a guy you just met, and he just trusts that you're going to give it back to him. This is 14 kilobytes of data, which is really interesting because the same day I got this, I had Linus
14 kilobytes of data. That worked the first time they did it. 14 kilobytes. What the fuck is a kilobyte? In
day I got this, I had Linus Sebastian from Linus Tech Tips here. We were installing a server that was over 100 terabytes. Now, millions of people look to Linus to understand more about modern computing hardware. So I thought a really cool thing to do would be stop what we were doing with the server and take a closer look at this memory module and how it works. Let's sit back and watch a modern computer nerd learn about the cutting edge technology from the 1960s. I'm Destin. Let's go get smarter every day.
Have you ever seen a Saturn V rocket? No. Okay. Do you know what the Saturn V is? Yes. My daily life literally revolves around the Saturn V. Like that's the Saturn V peeking out over the trees right there. Oh, there it is. Hello. In the 60s, they had just started building digital computers, and I'm going to show you the computer that they used to steer that thing.
I mean, it's got to be a bit of a terrifying experience having like, you know, the equivalent of a very large bomb strapped to your butt.
So this is the brain for the Saturn V rocket. If you look up right here, this is the instrumentation ring. And so they had computers on here that were digital. This right here is the launch vehicle digital computer. That is it. This right here is a memory module, okay? And if you look really, really, really close, you see those little bitty rings?
Yeah.
Okay, look right here. Look at that. Do you see that?
Holy smokes. So they're just, it looks like zip ties on chicken wire.
Okay, those are bits. Those are physical bits. So you see that screen?
Yeah.
These are wires that go down to these boards right here, right?
Yeah.
On each node, you have an iron ring. And depending on how the iron ring is magnetized, that's a 1 or a 0. That's how they programmed this computer. Seriously. So look at this right here.
So by hand?
By hand, yes.
They threaded these wires through the... I mean, who has a steady... Like, I don't even think you could build one of these today if you wanted to. That's incredible.
So there's a guy that worked on this in the 60s here. His name is Luke.
Yeah.
And you get to ask him all of these questions.
Luke the liar.
I'm Luke Talley, and at this time in 1969, I was a senior associate engineer at IBM in Huntsville.
So your computer pointed the rocket?
That's right.
Awesome.
We steered the rocket. That's a memory module.
It's a whole memory module, yeah.
A black woman. Didn't the black woman do this shit? Isn't that what we saw in the movie? The black woman did this shit, man. What the fuck is going on, man? Shout out to Boy Kachin said, just admit you're afraid of heights. Two things can be true at the same time, man. Two things can be true.
Must have shot somebody to get that.
So how valuable would you say that is?
I have no idea. You have to go to the Antique Roadshow. This computer controls all the timing, start engine, stop engine, fire separation rockets, fire retro rockets, all this kind of stuff. It does navigation and guidance. You have stored in the memory a profile. At this point in time, I need to be here, going this fast, going in this direction. Now realize that this is core memory. So you have these magnetic cores, you have the wires feeding through the cores. You push a current down through a wire. If you got a wire, if current's going in that direction, the magnetic field is going to be in this direction. If it's going this way, it'll be that way.
Yeah.
Make that a 1, make that a 0. There's 8,192 of those on this plane, all right?
Yeah.
Then there's 14 of those planes stack up to make this module.
Yo, what the fuck are you talking about?
On there trying to sound smart.
This shit is a joke, man. You gotta be fucking kidding me. People actually believe this shit.
On today's episode, NASA has a new problem with the Artemis moon mission.
we set sail on the solar winds. A new lunar landing is on the books, inflatable space habitats are blowing up, and this week's video is brought to you by the Space Race newsletter. Check it out today. Just when you thought that NASA's Artemis moon landing operations couldn't possibly get any more complicated, from the massively expensive and outdated SLS launcher, to the massively massive and complex Starship lander, to the totally non-existent Gateway space station, now we're hearing that, of all things, it is the launch tower that's going to ruin everything. How did that happen? Well, in yet another of their famous cost-plus contract awards, NASA's builder of the Mobile Launcher 2 has somehow allowed the project cost to balloon up to 6 times the original quoted price. And even worse than...
So now they need more money. They need more
Hike
money,
your
man.
tax dollars. Why your taxes continue to go higher and higher and higher?
Just give us some more money. We promise we're going to the moon one day, man. Give us some more money. All this shit.
Than that, these construction problems could put the first crewed landing on the moon in jeopardy. The Mobile Launcher platform is a piece of hardware that NASA has been using since the 1960s.
The first crewed landing? The fuck? What's a crewed landing? Didn't you already land? Y'all didn't land crudely the last time? 50 years ago when y'all did this shit, yeah, it wasn't crude. So look at how much they've advanced since they went. And they can't go yet. They need $6 gazillion more to fucking...
It allows the technicians to stack a large, complex rocket system like the Saturn V, the Space Shuttle, and the SLS, and then integrate that rocket with the launch tower while all of the components are still safely inside the vertical assembly building. So when it's all ready to go, they just slowly wheel the whole mobile...
It's embarrassing, man, that they think we're this stupid, man, because a lot of us are. It's embarrassing, man. And listen, if this shit is fake, you wouldn't have to fake this shit if all that shit you were doing up there was real. And you know what I'm saying? You wouldn't have to fake anything. If the world was a globe, it would just be evident. You would been able to prove to us that the world was a globe. There would be no shadow of a doubt.
And what kills me is they're so busy trying to figure out what's going on up there, and they haven't even discovered, they haven't even discovered every square inch of this planet this so-called planet that we live on, this globe or this blue marble, or they haven't discovered everything here yet, but yet and still you want to go up in space.
Insane, man. Salute to boy Kachin. He says Raytheon invented microwave ovens by accident in 1946, working on radar. My bad. I guess so.
Yes, yeah, it's a bunch
platform
of BS.
over to the launch pad. NASA built 3 of these rigs for the Apollo program in the 1960s, which were then repurposed for space shuttle operations in the 80s. Between 2009 and 2010, a 4th platform was constructed. This is Mobile Launcher 1. It was hardware designed to support the George W. Bush era Constellation program, which was a moon-to-Mars exploration project very similar to what Artemis is today. Constellation was canceled in 2010, but it left behind this one launch tower and a couple of design concepts for a big rocket and a deep space crew capsule. That original Ares rocket design would become the Space Launch System, and the Mobile Launcher 1 would be retrofit to support the new rocket. But SLS is already a bigger vehicle than the launch tower was originally designed to handle, so while NASA has been able to make do with the initial Block 1 configuration of SLS, in order to upgrade the rocket to its much-needed Block 1B, they're going to need an entirely new mobile launcher to accompany it. ML2 is going to support the new exploration upper stage of the SLS, which is a bigger, more powerful propulsion system that will allow the Orion capsule to carry both a crew and a cargo payload into lunar orbit. The ML2 tower would need relocated access and egress arms for crew transport into the taller rocket. It also needs a more substantial vehicle damper system to stabilize the new rocket system against high winds and vibration from transport. Additionally to that, the umbilical connections need to support more propellant transfer for the exploration stage's larger hydrogen and oxygen tanks. On top of all that, the ML2 just needs to be much beefier than the current ML1, which wasn't designed to handle the power of the SLS. And we saw that after the first launch of Artemis 1. The launch tower systems were pretty badly damaged by the force of the rocket. Plumbing was shredded, doors were blown off, nothing that couldn't be fixed, but it was far from ideal.
All these fucking dumbass stories to like try to make us feel real and shit. All this color, they like coloring in all with a bunch of bullshit stories that had nothing to do with your ass actually going to space. This is fucking horse shit, man. This is straight
And a lot
up
of people like to smell it.
NASA's SLS moon rocket is doomed to fail. This is not a new idea. It's something that critics of the American space program have been saying for years. It's even something that fans of the American space program have been saying for years. But according to some recent leaked information, it's starting to look like even NASA themselves have come to believe that the SLS is a lost cause. Now, that doesn't mean that the Artemis moon landing is canceled, or at least it doesn't have to be. It just means that there needs to be a change in plans, one that's been a long time coming. This new revelation about the internal struggle at NASA comes from a post on X written by Eric Berger. He says, based on what I'm hearing, it seems at least 50-50 that NASA's Space Launch System rocket will be canceled. Not Block 1B, not Block 2, all of it. Eric is the lead space writer at the website Ars Technica. He's an old school journalist who's been doing this for a very...
Look at this fucking guy. Look at this shit, man. This is all bullshit. Wow. This is all horse shit. Wow. And y'all believe this stuff. Y'all believe this stuff. Elon knows space is fake. Yeah, he that's a racket. He getting all that money from SpaceX. You need to put Doge on that shit. They need to put Doge on SpaceX. It's a bunch of bullshit. This is so bullshit. This is their stuff. This is the stuff they put out. Look at the stuff they put out. Look at the shit they put out.
If we could get to the moon in the 1960s, no way. Why does it seem so hard to do it now in the 21st century? Like we've all seen, or remember, the 1960s. We had giant computers that could now fit inside of a little calculator, let alone the computing capacity of your smartphone. We had technology that is laughably out of date by today's standards.
New guy, man, you gotta connect your device. Your device is not connected, new guy. I don't know why you guys can't come in. You gotta go out and come back in. Your device is not connected.
And we just did it. If we could get to the moon in the 1960s, no way. Why does it seem so hard to do it now in the 21st century? Like we've all seen, or remember the 1960s. We had giant computers that could now fit inside of a little calculator, let alone the computing capacity of your smartphone. We had technology that is laughably out of date by today's standards.
You didn't have to prove it back then. Now you want to prove that you went. So many fucking news agencies and fucking independent fucking news and internet and all this shit. You want to prove you went now. Back then it was 3 channels. That's it. Your TV only had 3 channels. Didn't even have the WB or CW even back then. Just 3 channels, ABC, NBC, and CBS. Didn't even have Fox on the TV. It was just 3 fucking channels. That was the only way you had the world and the radio. You didn't even have fucking call waiting. They didn't even call waiting back then on the fucking telephone.
And we just did it. And yet now it seems almost impossible. Like we've been trying to recapitulate it for almost 2 decades.
The news was literally the news had to go to print by like 3 o'clock to make the next day's paper. So you would get the paper in your bushes the next morning, and that would be everything that happened before 3 o'clock the previous day. And that would be today's news in the newspaper.
Now, like we've been hearing for decades, oh, we're going back to the moon. NASA's we're headed back to the moon, more people on the moon. It's taking forever. Our current plans are bloated, horribly late, over budget, and it seems like it's getting worse. What's going on? Well, to set things up, let me paint the picture of the difference between the 1960s and 70s Apollo missions and our current strategy with the Artemis project. So let's start with Apollo. On July 16th, 1969, we made history. At 9:30 in the morning, the Saturn V rocket, the largest, most powerful rocket ever built, ignited. Capable of over 34.5 million newtons of thrust at launch, the Saturn V hoisted 48 tons of fuel, equipment, landers, life support systems, communications gear, a command module, a descent module, and an ascent module.
What's your thoughts, new guy?
What are you talking about there? Are you talking about the flat Earth or the moon or both?
All of it.
Okay, with the flat Earth thing, rather than me trying to prove to you why the Earth is spherical, I think it probably makes more intuitive sense to anyone to just ask, like, all right, well, if the Earth's flat, like, where's the end of the Earth? I think that's a pretty tough one to answer coherently.
Yeah, but we're just a puddle on a big ice sheet. Like we're not like it's not like we're just the whole Earth. We're just a puddle, man. We're just a puddle inside of a big ice sheet.
But okay, so
ice sheet.
Obviously the Earth is not infinite, right? That's just obvious. You just look up in the sky at night and you can see that it's obviously an empty universe with, you know, the Earth in it. So if the Earth is not infinite and the shape of the Earth is not a spherical one, but it's rather a flat one or one with like a rigid edge, then intuitively, doesn't that mean that there would be an end of the Earth that could be reached physically?
This is what I think. I think our moon and our sun, our local moon and our sun, carved out a puddle in the ice sheet, and the ice sheet is endless. And that's what Antarctica is, the ice sheet. But there's probably other moons and other suns somewhere else that are carving out puddles, and who knows what's out there. But I don't look at it like, oh, we're this is the only thing. No, there's plenty of other shit, space and time out there and matter on the flat Earth. But this is just our localized sun and moon. Like we can only be where our moon and sun is. That's the only way life could exist. Where our moon and sun is, we're being sustained by our local moon and our sun. That's spinning, man. Let me show you. I think I can show you. what I really think.
All right, let's see it. But do you believe in satellites? Because that's basically how they did the moon.
Nah, I don't believe in satellites at all, man.
Okay. Can't you can like see satellites though, like with a telescope. Like you can just like visually see them.
Yeah, I bet. I bet.
Wait, you've flown on a plane before though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, then come on. How do you explain that then? Like looking out the window. What are we talking about here?
What do you mean?
It's clearly spherical.
Nah, it's clearly flat.
No, look out the window on a plane. There
I
is
do.
it is totally like there is a spherical shape to it. It's not completely flat.
You said it's not a. All right, let me see. This is the closest one that I can find to it.
Okay.
That let me see. I used to be able. I just gotta save this shit next time I see it. Like, no, not even that. That's not the one that I want to show you. But this is our local sun, and our moon and our sun are not 8 gazillion miles away. They're right there. They're right there.
Okay.
They're local. Here it is. Here goes. Okay. And some people believe in the firmament, that there's a firmament that's over us. I don't know about the firmament, but I do know that we have a local moon and a local sun rotating. Um, and this is a big ice sheet. I don't believe in this part where it's just a big float. I think the ice sheet is infinite.
Okay, so all right, so then if I'm on that plane right there, won't I eventually walk headfirst into the ice sheet?
Yeah, that's Antarctica.
Oh no, come on. No. All right, I see what you're saying.
How could water can sustain? You need a vessel to sustain water. The only way water, this whole water, we're on the globe and the water's on the outside of the globe. This is the only way water can stay contained is in a vessel.
Well, the water is staying contained on the sphere for the same reason you and I are, because it's being pulled directly to the center of the Earth.
Yeah, but that takes a lot to fucking, that it's easier to just Occam's razors that we're being contained by a big ice sheet in our local moon over gazillions of years. Our local moon and local sun carved out a puddle in a big ice sheet, and the water's being contained by the ice outside of the heat of the sun and the moon, and it's just a big circle.
So then, if this model here is correct, doesn't that mean we could literally go to that ice, right? Because that's Antarctica.
Yes.
And literally like climb up it and out of the frying pan and then like drop off into outer space.
No, I
and never
don't
be
believe.
seen
I
again?
believe the ice sheet is infinite. I don't think that the ice sheet is not just there like it's not like we're in a cup. We're in a big infinite ice sheet that you can't fathom or measure.
Okay, so is the ice sheet like infinitely going up and down like a big column, or is it infinitely in like a planar area and you could keep walking on the ice for forever?
I feel like you can't fathom it. It's just like the moon. Like we don't know what it is. We don't know. We can't scope it. We can't. You know what I mean?
What do you mean scope it?
Like we can't fucking fathom. We don't know. Like we can't count it. We can't. Like we humans. We got to the point where we can calculate everything and da da da. I don't believe you can calculate all that stuff. Like it's just infinite.
Well, why would it be difficult to calculate?
Because we calculate stuff based on what we know, things that we've already conquered, as far as, but we can't. There's other stuff that we haven't conquered, that we haven't that we can't know, that we don't know. humans have gotten real arrogant thinking we know everything. We don't know everything. I don't know everything.
Well, I think most people, most scientists that are like atheists, at least, will concede that like they can know things about what's in the universe, and that's it. We can't have knowledge about what created the universe or what's outside it, or even if there is something outside of it. I think like most scientists would concede that. I think I would too. So I don't know why it would be hard to, like, it's not like they looked at the moon and then they just went, oh, that thing's really heavy. Like they use like the gravity formulations, and they like measure like the distance of the rotation, and then they calculate the size and the weight of the Earth in the same way they would do a satellite or any other body, really. So it's not like a unique object in any way. It's just kind of big and there and spooks people out, I guess.
Mm.
Hold on, wait, is the moon a sphere?
Is the moon a sphere? I don't know what the moon is.
Is the moon like this ice thing? Is it like a flat plane that is like enclosed?
I don't know what the moon is. I think the moon is just, I don't think anybody, there's no way they've been to the moon. Like, I don't think they've even been close to the moon. But I do know that the moon is something that, like the moonlight, I don't even think they understand the moonlight. Like moon, they look at the moon and the sun as equal opposites. But what if the moon and the sun are something different? What if they both like serve the same purpose?
What do you mean by equal opposites?
Like the sun is lights up the daytime, and the moon lights up the nighttime. But I mean, there are plants that live on moonlight. We don't understand. I don't understand all this shit. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I understand all this shit. But these things are a gazillion. Like the moon's 93 million miles away. You believe that, right?
I don't know how far away it is, but it's obviously very far away. Yes.
And it's big as shit, right? I don't think it's that big. I think it's what we see. I think what we see is where I think this is what we're seeing every day.
I mean, I don't know why the moon well, here's the thing, right? Like the moon doesn't really even have to exist in order to have an Earth orbit the sun. Like the moon does shit with tides, and I'm not a biologist, but I'm sure it does affect the way in which animals and life lives on the planet. But like the moon in of itself, like I don't even know that it's even that important, to be honest.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
But
so
the
it's
sun
like
obviously is.
Right. And what if the moon is very important?
Again, I don't know how important it is for like life on the planet, but suppose the moon didn't exist, like the Earth would still orbit the sun, and that would still continue until the sun basically goes out.
Yeah, I believe that the sun and the moon are orbiting us. I mean, rotate. This is what I think it looks like. This is what I think is happening.
So then, okay, by that fashion, then don't you think you would have to concede that like all the other planets are also orbiting us? Because then you'd be kind of like picking and choosing with physics there. Like these two objects orbit the Earth, but then like the other ones aren't. That would be kind of strange, right?
Yeah, but what are those? Are those planets or those lights in the sky that we haven't fucking understood yet?
No, they're definitely planets, 100%.
How do you know that?
They're like large planets and like the reason why like ancient cultures would see them.
No, but fuck ancient cultures. How do you know that they're planet? They're the planets. Like most of those things that when you look through a telescope, they're just dots and
yeah, they're like
all those renderings. That's not what it looks like. Those are renderings. The planets and shit. Those are renderings.
Okay, well, obviously, if you see a tree from far away, it looks small, right? So obviously, a planet's got to be pretty big.
But if I see a green and brown mass, and then I draw a tree, That's just me rendering that green and brown mass.
Sure, okay, but at least for the moon, we don't have to do that. I mean, it's like plain in the sky, right?
Not the moon, but you're talking the other planets that are so far away that you really can't see them.
Well, sometimes you can though, depending on the lighting situation and at like rare times. But you can. Obviously, it's not going to be a nice like clear HD picture in your mind's eye that the moon has, because the moon is so much closer. But you can observe other planets like the moon. Also, I've heard with the flat Earth thing, like how do you account for gravity in that model? I've heard people
Electromagnetics. I mean, listen, a lot of that stuff can be. Listen, I'm not sitting there trying to act like I know everything. I'm not like some fucking scientist. I just feel it like when I wake up, when I walk around, this resonates to me more than the globe. And I've been indoctrinated with the globe as long as anybody else has, and it just doesn't. It doesn't resonate to me. I don't feel like that's what our existence is.
Well, okay, suppose what we have on the screen here is correct. What would it change? In other words, like what's the reason to hide the truth?
That's what you said it was, and then you went to the moon based on this. And if you went to the moon based on the globe, you have to keep going with the lie.
Okay.
Like how could they come back and be like, well, we went to the moon and well, you know what? Now the Earth's flat. Like, I mean, no, they went to the moon based on that lie and they just rolling with it. And also that lie serves a purpose because it keeps people from looking outside of our puddle. Like there's other puddles, but it keeps people from venturing outside of our puddle.
I mean, what about like other things such as like like the whole sailboat proof? What about that?
I mean, all their proofs that the world is round, it never is just a big picture of the round earth. It never is something solid. It's always some fucking like put a stick here and then the sun fucking shines against the stick in the shadow. That means that the earth is round. Just show us the fucking earth is round, man.
What about like the shuttles that Elon Musk sends up and they like land like when they return to Earth,
shit
right?
Too.
Okay. I see.
SpaceX is horse shit. SpaceX is horse shit. Anything dealing with space is horse shit. There's no space. Space is outward. Everything is just the way you think it is. Like you're standing up straight. Water finds its level. If water can't bend as a mass, like water needs a vessel. Without a vessel, water just flows infinitely.
Also, this thing, like, couldn't you this model here, doesn't it imply that there's like an entire like underbelly of the planet that could be like a mirror image or something with a whole different set of people or aliens or some shit?
No, it just is what it is. Like it ain't all that shit. It ain't all that complex metaphysical shit. It just is what it is. It's what you see.
Okay.
It's simple. It's like a dog. You see a dog right there. It's just a dog sitting right there. A cat walks up. It's just a cat that walks up. You know what I'm saying? It's not like a whole bunch of other shit than that. It's like everything else in life. It is what you see. Like this, when you look up in the sky, the sun always comes around to you. But we're told that we're on a big ass ball flying through the galaxy around the sun. What's more plausible? What would just be easier for life to create? Just like why would do we have to be spiraling at a gazillion miles per hour around a fucking big ass sun with all these other planets and shit and twisting and turning and rotating on the axis and all that shit constantly?
I get because I suppose because gravity just kind of demands it, or well, it doesn't even demand it. It's just like, I don't know, here are the physical rules or properties of the universe. So that does seem
Gravity
kind of
explains this. Gravity doesn't demand it. Gravity explains the globe. Without gravity, gravity is one of the explanations for the globe. But everything falls down. Why would everything fall down? Because down is down. And why would some things float up? Because they're lighter than air. But most things are heavier than air, so they fall down. And I think it's that simple. I don't believe in all that gravity shit. Like, yo, of course everything falls down. You're down. You wouldn't need gravity to be like pulling you down at all times, because gravity's never failed either. Like, when has gravity failed? Gravity's perfect.
yeah, but like if yeah, and that explains why it always falls down no matter where you are on the earth, because down is just the direction of the center of the earth.
Right. Right. And look where all the but look where all the achievements are. All the achievements are in the center of the earth. Here you go, Uncle Frank. What's up, man? Everybody support the channel via PayPal, Cash App, and Super Chat. Hit the like button, hit the PayPal, hit the Cash App, hit the Super Chat. What's up, Uncle Frank? What's your thoughts, man? Uncle Frank? Oh, let me see. Uncle Frank? Uncle Frank?
Yo, what's going on, lads?
What's your thoughts, man?
Well, interestingly enough, this map that you've got up on the screen here, this has been proven wrong by your own flat earthers, Whitsitt and Jeranism, because they both went there and they viewed themselves a 24-hour sun in Antarctica.
Yeah, but
So
that's there. That was a big thing for them. I never even considered that as the reason why I thought the Earth was flat.
I get that, but you know, look at this: the way the sun's going around what you believe is to be true. The 24-hour sun couldn't happen. It's impossible, because you can see on this map, Antarctica is supposed to be the outside, and the sun's going around it. So it's impossible to have a 24-hour sun.
Well, here's the thing. Maybe something else explains it.
Like?
I don't know.
Could it just be that?
I don't know everything. But
I get it.
But what I'm saying is, if there's maybe something else explains that.
Could it just be that we're on a ball and that works out that, you know, at the correct angle they do have a 24-hour sun? Couldn't that be the truth? Is there anything that you could possibly find that could convince you that what they saw is true, and that we are on a ball?
Yeah.
What would that be? What would you have to see?
Just a picture of the fucking Earth rotating. Like when they go, like NASA. Why is NASA so fake if they're really going up there? Like if they're going up there, because the globe depends on NASA. NASA is the proof of the globe.
So
But
what about
NASA
Russia?
Huh?
What about the Russian space agency or the Japanese space agency?
Well, I mean, they're all in
Indian?
on all the nations are in on it together because they get to tell their people that, you know, they've done something great. It's all bullshit. I think it's a collective pact. It's a pact between the countries.
So
But
once again, even the people that you say you want a photo of the Earth to disprove it being flat, but then the photos or the quote unquote renders that they provide, you don't believe. So
yeah, but they're
straight
not
off the bat,
photos.
you wouldn't believe it.
Like you should be able to like just stream the Earth spinning. It's
They do.
2025.
They had this like 5 or 6 years ago. They had 24-hour streams from the ISS, but you don't believe
But
that.
that's CGI though. But that's CGI.
But once again, how can you prove it if you don't believe the sources that they're providing? Here's
No,
the
what I'm
Earth.
saying, but the stuff they stream was CGI.
How do you know that?
Okay, so tell me, so what is it? You said the 24-hour stream of the Earth, right?
They stopped it like 4 years ago, but you can go on
yeah, they
YouTube
just
and watch
stopped it. Yeah, they just stopped the fucking stream. Like we got a fucking 24-hour fucking COVID clock and shit on CNN, but we just stopped the stream.
If you search ISS live stream, it'll tell you the years that they had it running for, and then they stopped it. So they do sometimes have it on YouTube, the actual live stream on YouTube. But once again, nothing they show you, you're going to believe anyway. So there really is no way of proving to you that the Earth is round.
No, but what I'm saying is CGI. Like, they're not showing us the Earth; they're showing us CGI.
But there's no proof of that.
There's no proof that it's CGI.
Yeah.
All right, let's look at it. Let's look at it then. All right, this is their shit. Because remember, all this stuff is the stuff they put out. It's not the stuff that I'm putting out. I'm just going about what they put out. So this is the 24-hour space from space looking at the Earth spinning.
What looks fake about that?
Everything.
Why? What should it look like?
What should it look like?
Yeah, well, you're saying this looks fake. So according to you, what should it look like to be real?
It should look like maybe the sea would be green, right? Or the sea would be dark blue, or some of the it's everything, like it's too perfect. And it's
yeah, what do you have to reference that to though?
What I have a reference to?
Yeah,
the
because
fact that
yeah, go.
All pictures I've ever seen in my life.
But what I'm saying is you've got no reference, so like you can't, like they're making, here's what our footage is, and then you're saying I don't believe it, but there's nothing else to reference it to say, well, look, I've seen other proof that says it should be more green than blue.
Well, no, all I'm saying is like I'm just using that as an example. Like,
yeah,
this doesn't look like, this just looks like some fake CGI bullshit.
I still don't understand how it could be said. Like, what about it looks CGI? CGI shit you see in the movies. Like,
okay, so so I thought there were clouds and
there is clouds.
Okay, but those clouds look like bullshit, like fucking paint. This looks like a fucking rendering, man.
But then you just go to a different day where there's the weather's different,
And then
you
the
get to see
curve,
lots of
right?
cloud.
The curve, right? Like so
Yep.
so look at the curve, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the curve, how convenient. I mean, this is like yo.
Do you think there should be more of a curve?
No, I'm saying there is no curve, and if there's a curve, it's just because it's an optical thing.
So if that's true, then I mean I've got a telescope here at home, and I have literally looked at Saturn's rings myself with my own eyes. So if I took the telescope, because I can see that distance, and I pointed it any direction from where I am, shouldn't I be able to see like America, where you guys are?
Yeah, go ahead.
But I can't.
And we can't.
I know. That's because you're
From
on
up
the other
there.
side of the earth.
No, but we can't from up there. I don't think this shit is real. This shit looks like bullshit. Like, oh, the lights and shit from space. And so this is live. All the lights is on in space and shit. All the lights is on Earth and shit.
Yeah, but all those lights are all the major areas where people live. So doesn't that make sense? Like, what should it look like? It's obviously nighttime there. So all the people on Earth have the lights on in all the major cities. Wouldn't that be what it looks like? I mean,
that's what you would think it would look like. But I mean, everybody having their lights on in the city makes it look like all this stuff is very convenient. It looks like a flat plane to me. This looks like a flat plane.
Exactly. You see how it's moving. It's constantly. It's like if you stationary, it's like look. It looks like a flat plane.
Couldn't you just like get in a hot air balloon? Like, it seems like such a simple, easy thing to observe.
But
with your own
millions of
eye.
people have been in hot air balloons.
even
Yeah.
even better, if you want, you can, if you search air abflug or air flug, it's you can actually pay in Russia to go on a ride in one of their jets, and they do a maneuver where they shoot straight up in the air at great speed, and it's like the highest you can go in a jet for a civilian. and at that height, you can see the curvature of the Earth. So you can do it.
Look, by
You know?
civilian though, this is as high as you can go for civilian.
Yes, because otherwise you got to get training, a special suit, space suit, and all the rest of it. And then obviously it's not an airplane; you got to go up in a rocket. So the airplane can only go up to a certain altitude, but what they do is they dive down, they nosedive to gain more speed, and they pull up vertically, and they use that energy to get up higher. And it's only for a short time, but it gets up that high, so you can see a more of a curvature. Plenty of people have done it. There's lots of videos on YouTube, but once again, you're just not going to believe the video that they show you. So there really is no way to convince you guys of anything. I mean, the same way, I'm not a flat earther, obviously, but I feel sorry for Whitset and Jeranism, because like a lot of their communities turned on them and they were just reporting what they seen. It's kind of like if the OGs of the flat earth movement change their minds and everyone attacks them, then it kind of shows that there is no physical way to change the mind of flat earthers. They're just locked in their
I'm not.
way.
Yeah, I'm not a flat earther. I just believe that we exist on an infinite flat plane. Like that's what I
Why?
believe. I don't call it a flat Earth. I call it a flat plane.
But wouldn't it be cooler if like we did achieve these things and we did go to space? Wouldn't that be cooler? Wouldn't
Oh
that
hell
be
yeah!
like
It'll
yeah?
definitely be awesome. It'll definitely
And
be awesome. But they can't show and prove to us that this is the case. So there's something fishy about it.
what proof would you need to change your mind?
I would definitely have to see it with my own two eyes.
Yeah, well, that's kind of like you want to go to NASA and try and get a job and then train and become an astronaut. That ain't going to happen. So once again, there's really no way to prove to you either. So it's kind of like impossible. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. I mean, if they can give us some video, some uninterrupted video, some
Like the
actual
like
footage without
like that's on
fish
the screen
eye
now.
lenses. Say that again.
Like the video that's on the screen now.
It's not showing and proving to me that this is not a flat plane. Just because you can see a curve there doesn't show and prove that it's an actual curve. I mean, and then we can actually be looking at, we could be looking at something from a point of view where it's this giant flat plane of existence that's in a circular form.
Yeah, but if you get a dinner plate, right? It's really easy. If you get a dinner plate, right, and you hold it up in front of you and you look at it, it looks round. Now, if you turn it on an angle away from you on a 45-degree angle, it looks like an oval. And you see what I'm saying? So how could you say that this is somehow flat? Like you can clearly see the curve.
Let me just read this. Boy Kachina says, why isn't this showing summer and winter change? And why do toilets and drains south of the equator spin the opposite way? No flatness, only fatness. I just think something else explains it. Like a lot of things that you guys are wondering why it is the way it is, you guys are cramming your science into this shit. Like, so your science has to explain everything. So it's like you'll cram it. You'll come up with theories. You'll come up with this, and you'll come up with all type of equations. Well, really, just look. It doesn't take all that. Just look, man. This shit is fake. I don't need an equation to tell me that this shit is fake. This shit is bullshit.
I think that others have just done their tests and they've like, oh, wow, in this side of the earth, the water rotates this way, and the other side of the earth, it rotates that way. We've done the tests. It's proved it to be true. Let's move on to something more important. That's why they don't need to revisit it. You know what I'm saying? Same way with gravity and all the rest of it. They don't need to retest it and keep proving it. They know it's to be true. This is why they can make all the predictions. Same way, you can go online and you can find out when the ISS is going to fly over your house, and you can see it with the naked eye, or you can get a telescope and view it better. But why don't you get a telescope and have a look out into the sky and have a look at these planets? Maybe that might change your mind a bit.
Yeah, maybe I will. Maybe I'll go to the observatory.
Yeah, I've done that.
Once again, no, don't go to the observatory, because then you're relying on somebody else's information. buy a shitty $100, $50 secondhand telescope. It's all you need.
I've done that.
There's
I've done
literal
it.
apps on your phone that tells you where to look and where all the planets are, and you can literally view it yourself. And the interesting thing is, if any of them were flat, which they're not, they're all round. They look round, at least to our eye. If any of them were flat, like the Earth could be,
No, I'm not saying that they're flat. I'm
Okay,
saying I'm not saying that that's. I'm saying we're flat.
but I'm
Earth,
explaining that
not flat Saturn.
I'm explaining that if by chance one of the others were flat as well, then they seem to us, when we look at them, to be perfectly round. And if they weren't and they were flat, then the only way they could be perfectly round is if they were pointing directly perfectly at us. Because if they were off kilter at any way, they wouldn't appear round. They would appear in like an oval shape. You see what I'm saying? This is kind of how we know that everything is round in a ball, because everything we view is round. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I just think something else could explain it.
Really?
No? Okay.
Something else could explain it. Like, and I think that they figured everything out. So it's like since they figured everything out, and when there's something that they can't figure out, they just use their science and their math to explain it, and instead of just thinking outside the box. Like everything is contained within their math and their science. Like they know everything, but they don't know shit. They can't get back to the fucking moon.
No, they can.
They can.
They can. Easy. Easy.
Okay.
Piece of piss. Do you know why they don't?
Why they haven't gone back to the moon in 50 years?
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead. Tell me why they haven't gone back to the moon in 50
Well,
years.
if we go back to the demographics of America at that time, it was majority white
Are
people.
you really? You joking, right?
No, not at all. Think about it.
Oh my God. Go ahead.
Pretty much all of the scientists were white, and the money, the percentage of money they were spending versus the national, they were spending way more money on this science and technology. And now, if you have a look at the demographics of America, it's clearly gone the opposite way. And the government is spending so much more money on other bullshit that they literally cannot afford to spend the time and effort and money to do it again. They went there 5 or 6 times. And the general public, once again, the demographics are changing. The people that are coming here aren't interested in space flight. They're fucking bunch of Indians that like to shit in the street and stuff. Nothing good is coming from it. You're not importing, people that are pointing to the stars. You have to think about it. Like, whites invented space flight. It wasn't like they were like, I know how to fly. They were like, oh, there's a bird flying. I wonder if I could try that. You see what I'm saying? Like, their imagination was thinking of outside of the box, things that were impossible. The same way with space flight. And now there is none of that. America is spending wasting so much money on useless shit. They don't have the money to invest into this type of stuff. Australia's the same. Australia's even worse. Even worse.
So we can't go back to the moon
100%.
because some of the scientists aren't white men.
No, I'm not saying it's because they're not white men. I'm saying that they're not spending the same amount of money investing into the technology because they're wasting it on other useless shit.
Yeah, the priorities of the nation have changed.
Exactly.
Because the demographics of the nation have changed is basically Uncle Frank's thesis.
100%.
But even in India, they landed a rover like a year or two ago. So
that's bullshit. India ain't going to the fucking moon.
No, I think they did.
It looks like a damn Atari game.
Oh, I don't think the footage was real.
He thinks this is real, so I mean, of course,
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
What are those?
It's amazing. It's amazing though how the video goes for a short period of time, and then you get an edit to it just jumps to something else.
But even if it didn't, it would still be CGI because this is not the live. This is not the live. This is just a 10-hour thing of it. But even if it didn't skip, it was this is still bullshit. Like there's nothing that makes this not bullshit. This is bullshit through and through.
So if all this is bullshit, then how could you explain that you can literally make predictions and find out where everything is going to be in the sky years before it happens. If all their
From
scientists
past
fake and
information.
gay,
The sky, I don't understand the
From
sky. Like I
previous
don't understand
information.
all that stuff up there. But I
He's
just
talking astrology.
yeah, I don't know that. I
cosmology.
don't know everything.
It's all based. It's not predictions. It's all based off of previous information.
Yeah, I don't know
No.
everything. I don't
But
know
what
everything, Uncle Frank.
Yeah, no, I understand that. But what I'm saying is, this is the ISS is going around the Earth, and they know where it's going to be at what date, and you can literally find it. Like you can literally search it up; it'll tell you where it's going to be on what date, and then when it's going to be the day it's
No,
going to be
yeah,
over your area, you can zoom in and see it.
that. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Yeah, I've
you're
done
right.
that before. I'm
Yeah.
not discounting the fact that there's high altitude orbit or things of that nature. What I'm debating, or I just don't, I don't believe in, is that we're living on this ball.
So what do you accept? Like, okay, Uncle Frank is saying basically that like the way you're positioning the question here like makes it almost impossible for us to offer any type of proof. But would you accept that, at least in theory, yeah, if you got on a hot air balloon, would there be a certain height that the hot air balloon could reach? That
And
in your
believe it or
mind,
not, I've been on a hot air balloon, and believe it or not, I've been skydiving numerous times. And I'll say this: I've never seen a curvature.
okay, but would you okay, if you
Even
got on a
even
hot
on my Instagram, I have a video where I went on a high altitude flight, and I took video. Never seen curvature, and I pointed it out actually on the video, and I seen a body next to the sun that most people don't see, and I have numerous shots of video of this body next to the sun. It looks like a planet or a moon or something that nobody seems to talk about.
So when like the model Og had on the screen like 10 minutes ago with the Earth and the Sun, right, orbiting, would you agree that in theory, if you could be on the moon or be on the sun, or I guess if the sun had a pair of eyes, it could look down at the Earth, and then since the sun is so sufficiently high in the air, it would be able to tell us? In other words, what I'm saying is it possible in your mind that you would accept, if you could get high enough, that would be able to definitively answer the question? Maybe you didn't get high enough in the hot air balloon, but if you could go even higher, then that would be like a rational way to prove or disprove this.
Yeah, somewhat. Yeah.
I mean, I think that's kind of undeniable. Like, as long, maybe you don't think we have the capability to get high enough, but just in theory.
Yeah, I'm not saying we don't have the capability. I think they're hiding something from us.
What do you think that is?
The true form of this thing that we live on.
All right, let's say that's true. Let's say it is, what they're telling us is a lie, and it is flat or whatever. What doesn't matter what shape it is.
Like honestly, I think it's a lot larger than what they're saying. That
Okay.
I think it's a lot larger than what they're telling us that it is.
And what would that achieve? The lying to us. What would that?
Like this whole just in general, our existence and the purpose we're here, and and possible things that the possibilities, honestly, of what could be and what has been. Because there's a saying that my mother used to always say: there was never a time that man wasn't. But they tell us that, oh well, we came about at this time, and this is they give us all of these these different stories about creation and things of that nature. So yeah, I have tons of questions.
Yeah, Homo erectus and all that bullshit. Yeah, listen, I do believe some things about evolution and things like that. I believe that things can evolve and stuff like that. But this is about this is about the earth, the nature of what we're living on, our reality, basically. Our reality. What are we feeling? When you walk outside,
Facts.
and go get in your car, you're on a fucking big ass ball hurtling through the fucking galaxy at a gazillion million miles an hour.
Yep.
Okay. I just don't I don't feel that. I'm not feeling that when I'm going through the earth. I'm feeling like I'm on a flat plane. When I look in the sky, I'm feeling like the sun is revolving around me.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I just, it doesn't really make sense. I mean, everything that they claim, the Globers claim is true, or at least the explanations for it, seem to make sense. The other side is, no offense, it's just like a nah and hope and pray. Like the biggest flat earthers with their own model tried to disprove it. They went there, saw it with their own eyes, disproved it, and then they're like, yeah, well, that ain't true. So, well, let's think up another idea. And then they seen that their own community turned on them. So they're like, man, these guys are allergic to the truth.
I'm not turning on anybody. I'm not trying to convince anybody. Like, I'm not
No,
trying to
I'm
convince
not
anybody.
saying you are. No, I'm not saying you are.
I'm not. I'm just. That's just my personal. I'll be fine with that being my personal belief.
Yeah, no, exactly. My uncle's a flat earther too. There's no amount of debating will change his mind. He's locked into his ways 100%.
Yeah. I gotta holler at you on Mystic Philly in the back. All right, Mystic Philly. Mystic Philly. This dude always. Oh fuck.
He stepped away.
Oh, okay. Let me let me any final thoughts on this though? Do you have any final thoughts?
No.
I heard you, Ak. I heard you.
Yeah. Huh? All right, man. Same black time, same black channel. I'm out of here. Peace out.
Peace.
Peace. What's going on, man? Let me hear something, man.
What's up, man? I ain't got nothing to hear for you. I don't have nothing for you to hear right now. I'm not in a situation to be able to play for anything for you right now.
But you came up with something, man?
Oh yeah. I got several things I came up with. Yeah, I got several things that I came up with. Saturday, anytime Saturday after 12 is perfect.
Okay, yeah, man. Because I mean, I'm excited to hear what you came up with, man.
Oh yeah, I got 6 different joints that I came up with so far. You know, I got some beats. I got like full out beats, and then I also have some I got like just like different rhythms and different elements that you can
Yeah, I
hear.
know what you're
Kind
about.
of give
Just
to
vibes
give you
and
an
shit.
idea.
Yeah,
Yep.
ideas and shit.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. All
Yeah,
right, man. Well,
I just been
just
running around.
call me on
I've
Saturday.
been. All right, yeah, I just been running around all crazy since I got back. But I definitely didn't forget about you.
Yeah, man. Just call me on Saturday then.
All right, that's what's
All right,
up.
bro.
All right.